La cream.
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday the 27th of November 2011. I'm your host Dan Train. Joining me today, Robert Kemp.
Cream.
And Zachary Burgess.
Dramatic pointing.
Dramatic pointing. It's happening.
Suitable for radio.
Exactly.
This pointing is so offensive, you just can't see it.
Offensive?
It's so offensive you can't see it, like physically. Even if you were looking directly at it, you wouldn't be able to see it.
They wish they could see it.
It's because when you point, it's pointing so directly at them
Well,
that it's completely in profile. You can't see the point whatsoever. Therefore, it's no longer rude to point.
But then you're seeing the point.
Of the point. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. So anyway, yes, welcome. This is our video games podcast.
About pointing.
Indeed.
Use some pointers for pointing on a computer.
Have you got any good pointers for pointing? Use a mouse.
That's a good point.
Do so extremely, as we've just demonstrated.
Or offensively.
Or offensive pointing. Maybe that's if you do it with two fingers.
Try not to use a Wiimote. That's
Depends what two fingers you're using.
Double-handed point.
That's what I was doing. Both index finger of both hands.
That's
And then you can.
that's giving them the guns. Isn't it?
Yeah, the guns, and you can fire the guns one after the other with like a bit of recoil. Yeah, but usually when you emulate a gun with a hand, you use two fingers, do you not? The index and the middle finger, like that, and
Yes,
your
it's
thumb up.
it's like the barrel and the action.
Exactly, and you've got your thumb up as the
Hammer,
yeah,
I guess.
I guess. But what's that?
Or if you want to be super hardcore, then you have to use all your fingers and use this for the trigger. You use the forefinger.
That's really hard to do.
Yeah, that's really hard to do because you can't fold your little finger and...
Are you trying this now, listeners, wherever you are on the train? Pew, pew. Yep.
Everybody do the handguns.
Do the handguns. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. You got those Facebook messages from a listener of ours trying to download on the train over a 3G connection. Not going to happen.
Really?
Yeah,
don't do it. If you want to listen to the Saladcast, be committed. Prepare.
Yeah, prepare. Download beforehand, like I have to do with every other podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Don't trust that streaming
Really
shit,
is
yeah?
terrible.
Especially not over 3G. No one wants to use 90 megabytes of their limited 3G contracts.
He did actually start
Unless you
to
have an unlimited
manage
one.
to get it to work, but then he ran into patchy reception. Which
On
is
a train.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
train.
Boo. But yeah, it's I will experiment with mono this week instead of stereo to see
Really?
if I can cut the size down.
Well, since we're not
But it
recording in stereo anymore...
Yeah, but it makes the
doesn't
intro
actually
sound
matter.
shit.
That's true.
That's
it does.
true.
And if I do any of my fantasy endings.
Fantasy ending.
Hong.
We need to work out how to get back to recording in stereo. That's what it's all about. At some point, we'll need better
Multi-mic.
alternate plan. Yes, indeed.
Just get
Directional
two
mics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sit the other side with my mic pointing the other way or something. Since I'm not using it, I could just bring it here and we could always try it. Anyway, possibilities for the future. We should look at the bitrate and the mono stereo, whatever that the BBC use for their podcast, because I think it's quite low, but it sounds fine.
Yeah, I'll experiment.
I think it might help that they're recording in a proper studio, so they can compress it down.
And it might not make, and it might make me feel better about abusing DreamHost's unlimited storage policy.
Well, they promised.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not streaming video yet. Speak of which, this is random, pointless chatter.
We're talking about our own podcast again. As we've tried not to.
No, I'm about to talk about another podcast. Have you noticed that Giant Bomb's videos all gone YouTube?
Yeah, there was a big kerfuffle about
What
it.
is that all about?
Kerfuffle.
Well, it's because they started using YouTube, but they were only putting shit up in 360.
Yeah.
And it was like, what are you doing? And then everyone was like, 360 is shit. It's like, even your old video system was better than this. And then eventually it was like, well, now we're going to put it in 720. Now it's like, but now what are we paying for? If we could get the free YouTube videos in 720, why are we paying subscription?
So...
Have they answered that?
Not really.
Okay.
But obviously it's cheaper for them not to have to host all the videos.
Well, yeah,
Well,
I'm sure that helps.
But
But they still do. Because you can switch it to the old...
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh.
The old video streaming tech, whatever they're using.
Maybe they'll switch that off. I always liked the old... Anyway, computer games. We've probably got quite a bit to cover because it's getting towards Christmas.
we
And
have.
all the big games have been out and stuff.
I've still resisted buying Skyrim.
You're going to have to play that, man.
I
I'm
know.
going to play that eventually.
It's like, the more I've been hearing about it and seeing it, it's like, oh no, it's starting to become tempting. But I'm waiting for Monday because there's going to be a patch.
Yeah,
and I'm going to see what the patch notes are and see if they fix some of the things that I've been hearing are bad.
What have you been hearing out of interest?
Mainly the UI stuff. Like, the PC UI is just completely fucked.
Well, I heard
like sometimes it will say a button you're meant to push, but that button doesn't actually work, and then you have to mouse and push the physical button on the screen.
Oh, that sucks.
Just randomly, sometimes it does it one way, and sometimes it does the other.
But can you just, fix that using a mod rather than waiting for the developer to fix
You could,
it?
except they haven't released the mod tools yet, so you can't make...
Any mods that exist are currently unofficial.
Oh, are they?
And
And they're all, replacement EXEs and shit.
Yeah, which Steam has a bit of a problem with.
Oh, yeah. But some of them sound cool. Like the sort of Google Maps map thing, Street View thing, for the entire map. So you can just, zoom at any point. And have you had that craziness about them being the entire, very primitive maps from the other games?
That's not that surprising,
areas
though.
in the game.
Yeah, you could,
bizarre.
there's a number of theories that, maybe they were just being ultra careful to make sure that wherever you are in the world, there's always something on the horizon. So maybe there's some ridiculous peak somewhere that you stand on, and there's some hint of something in the distance.
But it makes sense anyway, since the map overview that you can open is just the world. It's it's just rendered from really far away.
Yeah.
It's still the same world geometries.
Yeah,
you
but
have to cover the edges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even so, you didn't have to render Morrowind and Tamriel.
It's not like they really render it. It's like being
Well, no,
when
it's reduced, but they went to the effort of making it precisely.
It's
and
like
all of
Battlefield
it.
3, where it's there's terrain fucking miles away from where you could actually fight.
Yeah, but they didn't even clip the bits that you weren't going to see, like the bits on the other side of mountains and stuff
true.
to save performance. Or
Well, you can't always... that's the sort of thing where you have to do it anyway, because you can't guarantee that someone's not going to find a way to stand on every single mountain in the entire world
Well, no,
and
but
see
you-
every single
but
little bit of
presumably all the
angle.
bits of terrain that are unnecessary are on the outside of the arena, so you basically just clip the bits that there is no...
It's still a bit strange.
It is a bit odd.
I don't think it is.
Oh man, have you seen
Unless
those?
they're planning some ridiculous DLC.
No, I'm pretty sure they're not.
Have you seen
Well,
those
it's not that
screenshots where
ridiculous.
people are hoarding shit in their houses?
Yeah.
Like-
That's what you always do. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah, but one guy's he takes every weapon and shield from everyone he ever kills and just shoves them all in his house. And it's just piles and piles of swords and shit all over the place.
Can you not just smell that or something? I mean,
I don't know.
That was last week's Penny Arcade, wasn't it? It's like, what if I come across
yeah,
the
it
broom
was.
dungeon?
He's just covered in brooms. Sounds brilliant. And you move ultra slow if you're
over encumbered,
over
of course.
encumbered. So it's
As always.
and then you use those crazy crappy NPCs as pack horses or whatever.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of crazy. There was a whole article on Rock Paper Shotgun about Lydia and how he'd accidentally killed her in some fight up some mountain, and then he came back to find her body, and he eventually found it because the world persists everything.
In the Giant Bomb Quick Look of Skyrim.
Yeah,
He just murders her.
Yeah.
In his house, and then when he goes outside, a message comes up and it's like, "I'm so sorry for your loss," and then he gets a message about her death giving him money because of the bereavement.
That's that was quick. Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, they were in this fight with this monster at the top that came out of this tomb or whatever, and she'd fallen down to the bottom, and so he dragged her all the way up the hill in a dodgy, you know how you have to skate up hills that are too in games in general.
Oh, yeah.
That are
the
too
classic
steep.
zigzag, yeah.
Yeah, but he had to kind of do that while dragging the body up, which was virtual nightmare, and managed to lay it to rest in the tomb of the guy he defeated. He was like, I must memorialise.
Memorialise.
I don't
like
know.
that.
I just came up with that.
It's a
just now.
word.
Is it?
Memorialise?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure.
Is
Really?
it? Really? I just made that up.
Not make a memorial of, or...
That's what it means.
I'm not so sure.
This definitely sounds like English according to Rob, right?
Memorialisation stations.
Memorialise, yeah.
Anyway.
It's like diarise, that's the word we use at work for putting something in the diary, and it's like, let's diarise it.
Maybe that makes slightly...
I heard that on
know.
TV the other day.
So it might be real.
You know that? Well, I don't know. It was, that sitcom Fresh Meat, the new one about the students. Have you?
I know of.
It's quite good. It's from the creators of Peep Show, and they were all basically they were timetabling having sex in a very very upfront manner or very awkward manner, and his phrase was, "Let's diarise this mofo."
Yeah, maybe not then.
Yeah, maybe not, but it was a great line. Yeah. Anyway.
Then again, if defriend can be an actual word, I think anything
Yeah,
can
but
be an actual.
Yeah, it's
that's
a
a
neologism.
word created because it has a reason for existing. It's not like just take two words and then like mash and end onto another word.
Do you defriend or do you unfriend?
Well,
Depends what you're
I think it's
doing.
I think defriending was the one that made it into the dictionary. But then again, I'm not sure I'd ever use the word in like real life scenarios. It's like, oh, I defriended them. It's like, I hate their guts. They slept with my husband. I'm defriending them.
Yeah, but you don't use
Not
it
that I'd
in
have a husband. That came out weird.
That did come out weird. You're not using it in that situation though. Its definition is very specific to the
Social networks.
to the social network context. You can't just use it every time you
it's
become
only to do with
enemies of
Yeah.
someone.
But that sounds so much like befriend is the thing. Like to
I
befriend
think
someone and then
unfriend
to
is better.
defriend them.
I'd use unfriend. Like, you unfriended me. Why the fuck did you do that? I can't see your profile anymore, you bastards.
Well, defriend sounds almost more violatory though, doesn't it? It's like
Like
Violent.
debase.
violatory or
That's
violatory or what's the word? Violatory.
I'm not really sure. I understand the word base that you're working from there, but I'm not sure what you're trying.
Violatory. Well, that's just a different pronunciation of the same word.
I think violatory sounds more likely than violatory.
Violatory. It's the same word, it's just a different
Yeah, exactly.
pronunciation.
It's an incredibly abusive toilet. Violatory.
Where does toilet come into
It
that?
sounds a bit like lavatory.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
That makes Rob sense.
Yeah, that makes Rob sense. Anyway, yeah. What about computer games that we have played?
What about news?
Oh, news! What's in the news?
Well, I want to still talk Skyrim. I still don't get it.
I think it looks pretty
The
sweet.
more I've seen of it, the more tempted I've been because it's
Well,
like,
no,
oh no, I can collect shit. Fuck, I'm
Oh,
screwed.
my brother's playing it now, so I wouldn't have thought he'd be into that sort of thing, but
But
he's
isn't
going
it
for
a
it.
glitchy pile of hell still? Like,
Doesn't look like
don't
it
think
most
so.
of the
the
time.
PlayStation 3 version doesn't work.
Well, fuck the PlayStation 3. It's not like we have one.
Yeah.
You're the only one who has to worry about that.
Well, no,
You'd
but
never
you
play it on the
PC,
PlayStation
wouldn't
3.
you?
No, yeah, true, but I can't help but think that's a fairly big sort of scar, you know. If it
Well, it's like Battlefield
the-
3 barely is like fucked up on consoles in some ways as it's not on the PC as well.
True, but you know, it's like virtually unplayable for some people on PS3 because of the
Well,
the
that-
frame rate just sort of stops.
Well, that's because of a save file issue.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like once save files become a certain size on the PS3, it starts lagging the fuck up.
No, really. Huh.
So it's like you can get once you progress to a certain distance into the game, it's like, oh no, too much data, and then it dies.
You can't help but think that someone must have play tested far enough for that to
I
happen.
don't know, that's quite a lot of playtesting.
Yeah, that's what they're paid to do.
I don't know if you do that. It's like I think if you wanted to playtest different portions of the game, you'd just have a pre-made save file that just drops you straight in at that point.
No,
and
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
have
There
all
has
the
to be
extra
someone
data.
at some point during a project's production that plays the game in its sort of like intended state, or as close to the intended state as possible, and plays it as the game is meant to be played.
You've never seen Eve patches. They never playtest that fucking ever.
Yeah.
If they're not industry, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. It seems like there's much less sort of. There's open world jank all over the freaking place.
Oh
but,
yeah.
But
I saw a cool video this morning of a horse doing a backflip.
Yeah, but that
Horses
stuff is just
totally
awesome.
fucked, apparently.
Yeah, but horses
Horses
are
can stand
terrible.
on like any
They-
plane. Like,
and they can stand on any angle. They can't walk backwards. They're almost slower than walking.
Yeah.
They're shit. I mean, compared to Red Dead Redemption, it's
Yeah.
awesome horses.
Well, the glitch I saw was in video form, and it had a horse doing a backflip in front of the cart you start in at the very start of the game. And then the horse basically just went off on
yeah.
the wrong route. And then they just sit there for a while, and you sort of look in the distance, and there's just this carriage facing towards a building with the horse still attached to it, rolling around on its back. and then of course the game then couldn't progress.
the game
because
never
there's
triggers. The entire game never happens if that
because
happens.
there's a sequence regarding that cart. And it's like, oh, well, its own physics model has broken a cutscene.
But that means you can wander around the world without dragons for as long as you like, basically.
Well, you can do that.
You can't get out of the
apparently.
cart.
Oh, right.
You're
you
sat
start.
in the cart
All
at the
right.
start, so the game
Apparently,
just
that you
stops.
can, if you at the start of the game, if you don't do the main quest, you can just wander around
Without the dragons, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. Was that just a coincidence in that quick clip where the moment he stepped out there was a big fuck off dragon?
Probably.
Because that was amazing.
Well, it was sort of amazing. It was awesome for like spectacle, but it's still
the actual
like,
fight was retarded.
Whack.
Yeah, that nice.
But that's what I reckon the game will be like in its entirety.
Well, yeah, the
I'm
combat is
definitely doing archery.
yeah, I was thinking of archery.
Totally doing archery. It sounds
Or
kind
archery
of cool.
magic.
Yeah.
I want
Magic
to have
seems
the
like
sneak
the-
skill though.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was actually considering daggers, like going full on backstab.
Be a spy, basically.
Yeah, because you get like
Rogue.
ludicrous damage bonus from dagger backstabbing if you level it up.
Because
It's like arrow sneak attack is ×2, but then if you go full dagger backstab sneak attack, it's like ×15.
Then again, I wonder how much the game actually allows for stealth.
Well,
especially
it
in
would be the
dungeons.
traditional way where it's like the AI is probably traditionally computer game retarded, where it's like, oh look, a dead body. Whatever.
But your,
It's the wild wilderness. That shit happens all the time.
but your NPC helpers always fuck up your stealth anyway.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like,
You'd have to like survive without them. Probably.
Yeah.
And I'm
Apparently
also
you can
told,
backstab.
spoiler alert, not to be a werewolf because it's shit.
I don't know. It looks
It's like,
okay.
You just sort of like...
Well, it's just like- you just
basically,
like-
basically what it sort of does is it sort of apparently just makes you required to do other things to stay alive more. Like,
I
you
don't know.
need to eat people to
The,
get
one,
health
the vampire
back and
one
stuff.
sounds worse.
Yeah.
Because that actually puts more... It's like the werewolf one, you just go, oh, you want to become a werewolf right now, wing!
Yeah.
Rather than the vampire one where it's like, oh fuck, I actually have to, eat certain people per day or whatever.
That sounds lame.
The vampire one sounds a lot more limiting than the werewolf one where you can just become a werewolf whenever the fuck you want. How does that even work? What about moons? I thought that was meant to be the...
Yeah, exactly. Moon stuff.
Did they not bother? They've got everything else in the world.
Maybe they
apart
don't have a
from the
moon
cycle.
in
Yeah.
whatever world this takes place on.
Yeah.
That I saw in the paper the other day. This is astronomer was like taking annoyed about Christmas cards with like a waning crescent moon on them in the
Because that never
sky.
happens.
Because it does happen, but it happens at about 3 to 5 a.m. So the kids wouldn't be out playing in the
It
snow
might be. Like, at Christmas.
with all the lights and everything.
Do you not sleep? I mean, that's what kids do, isn't it? They just sort of stay awake going, is it Christmas yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Christmas yet? Can we open our
If
presents
it's like
yet?
6 a.m, they'll already be up.
Yeah.
Go to fucking sleep!
I don't know, but it was kind of hilarious. Lol. Speaking of the moons and the sky in general in Skyrim,
Okay.
I think that, well, it does have sky in the title, but I think it's definitely competing with Red Dead on best sky ever in video games.
I haven't really seen it very much. Every time I've seen people play it, they don't look up.
Have you not seen
Isn't it the whole world kind of covered in a sort of snowy mist most of the time?
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of
You can
snow.
see
So
not
it's just
fly.
kind of like, well, it's grey.
Well, it's not like
Light
overcast
grey.
all the time. I mean, it's got like the aurora and stuff at
Well,
night
I guess
as
that
well,
makes
which
sense.
looks pretty damn sweet because it's all northern, obviously. I don't know. I don't know if it would beat Red Dead, but we might. I have to see a bit more of it and actually play it.
Yeah,
but
that
it looks.
counts.
I saw the Euro
Is that
game.
going to be your game of the year category? Sort of like the best sky in a game
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Is it Red Dead or is
Then again,
it?
it's got range to put up with, which has got fairly nice looking skies.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of sky,
It's dynamics. It's the different skies. It's not like
Speaking
one
of sky-
awesome looking sky.
there's a patch coming out on Tuesday for Eve where they're actually redoing all the backgrounds.
What about Battlefield
Oh, really?
sky?
Real, actual sky. It's like the nebula in Eve will actually matter now. It's like they'll represent different spaces and they'll actually be in the direction of that space. And like stargates will point towards the star that they're shooting you to and
That's
stuff.
so cool.
Like, hooray! The map actually makes sense now.
Yeah.
You can look in the distance and see one of the other places because it
That's a
actually
lot better.
physically exists.
Yeah, no, that's a proper
That's
update.
much better.
And there's lots of other awesome shit that it sounds like in that effect. Although I say awesome shit, it's more like making the game fucking work. Like everyone has wished that it would have for so long. Where it's like all this UI stuff where it's like, wow, you can actually drag select items. Holy shit, you can drag a box around stuff.
Really? How many years has it been since Eve came out?
Yeah, exactly.
You mean it has functionality like Windows?
Yeah, exactly.
In its Windows?
And it's Windows.
And you
In,
can,
in
and like,
its user interface portals?
and there's all kinds of other stupid things where like windows stay open when you have them open when you jump because that's always the problem. Like your
Shut all your...
your cargo hold always used to close when you jump, and then they fixed that. But then they introduced all these other kind of cargo holds like drone bays and fuel bays and all that kind of stuff. And those all closed when you jumped. It's like no, we want those to stay open as well. Well, now there's a patch.
It's like, oh yeah, engaging the hyperdrive just makes the Windows shell crash. It's that unavoidable.
Apparently, there's a new warp tunnel as well. Because the warp tunnel has looked shit for ages, ever since they updated it from the old warp tunnel, which I
The
thought
original
old one
one
was
was
great.
The original one was good. With
the new one is like barely there.
Does it still have the colour shifting?
Yeah. Although it's not quite as strong any longer.
I like that red shift, blue shift stuff.
Even though it's so stupid.
It's not that stupid. It would look like that, wouldn't it?
Well, apart from you're travelling faster than light to start with, so you wouldn't be able to see anything behind you.
That's true. I don't know what happens when you travel. Well, yeah, they're trying to work that out, aren't they, at the moment? What happens if you travel faster than light?
I'd imagine your view in front would look weirdly compressed. Like, perspective would shrink because of the speed at which the light is...
It lenses out to the point where you are in, like, tunnel vision, doesn't it, I think, when you go fast?
Who knows?
I can't remember what happens. And it all does turn a different colour.
Yeah, and you wouldn't see anything behind you,
Yeah.
And there's another new thing in that you fetched, like, a new text, a new font again.
Actually, no, wouldn't it just look incredibly bright in front of you?
Yeah,
like, perspective
I
was
think
squished and it'd be like, oh my eyes!
Because you'd be
if you're
like receiving a lot more of the light at the same time.
Because the thing about like if you were travelling at 0.9 c or whatever, to 0.9 the speed of light, then the light coming from behind you would still be hitting you at the speed of light, because that's how light works, and it always travels at the same speed no matter what speed you're going at.
Yeah.
So you can't catch up. That's relativity. You can't it's like if I shoot a laser at you and it travels at light speed and hits you and you die. But if you get on the Starship Enterprise and go the opposite direction at 0.9 the speed of light, and I still shoot the laser, it still goes at the speed of light towards you and hits you and you die. It comes towards you at the same speed no matter how fast you're running away from it, because that's light. It's fucking insane. That's what relativity is.
Because of space time.
Yeah, it's mental. Yeah, that's relativity. It will break your mind. It does make sense after you think about it for a long time and you think of all the consequences of it.
Yeah, like the consequences of travelling at that speed is like all gravity. You get a space-time curve because you're moving so fast, your mass goes up and all that kind of stupid, ridiculous shit.
And time slowing down and all that.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy crap. Anyway, but yeah. Meanwhile, in Eve...
Yeah, there's like a new font that they're going to put in again.
I just broke Ron's mind with relativity. Look up Albert Einstein.
Have you not ever looked at this on Wikipedia? I mean, come on.
He'll explain this shit to you.
Read about black holes all the time on Wikipedia.
My ears are leaking some kind of gooey substance.
Read about no hair.
Oh no, not hairy, no hairy black holes.
That's the best name for you ever. Apart from maybe quarks and their stupid colours. Because that's pretty funny as well. Top and bottom.
It's to do with information being lost, isn't it?
Yeah.
And theoretically, information can't be lost, but then if something falls into a black hole, then you do lose it. But maybe it's hairy. Maybe you can tell from the outside of the black hole's kind of structure, or whatever, hairiness.
Yeah.
All the information is like maybe smeared over the edge of the black hole.
The sphincter of the black hole.
So it's still there.
Some level of hair trail.
It's still potentially recoverable, the information.
It's like hairy or no hairy, or naked singularities. In case you want a naked one.
Anyway,
they are so just taking the piss when they come up with these names.
Well, no, the quark one is the most obvious taking the piss. Where it's like
the colours.
The colours of quark, top, bottom, strange, charm,
up and down.
Up and down. Because those are colours.
Well, presumably they mean colour to do with frequency, do they? I don't know. No, maybe
no,
not.
I think it's some other, even more obscure reason for calling it a colour. Or maybe they just wanted to call it something that's irrelevant, just like
Isn't
quarks.
it flavour, though?
I mean, no, those are flavours, but you also get colours.
Oh, okay.
Colours are... Actually, I think colours are actually colours now that I think about it.
My
the
favourite
flavours are up, down, top, bottom, and all that.
Charms are really tasty. I like charm quarks.
I'd like a top pizza, please.
Top quark pizza.
Not a charm pizza.
Strange pizza.
I wonder if I eat it and it'll become all suave. It's charm pizza.
But that's... No, because...
Your pizza mostly has up and down quarks, doesn't it? In reality, because they're the ones that have to...
So you get the up from the taste and the down from the gluttonous feeling afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is there's like up and two downs in a proton or something?
Yeah, and then the colour is theirs, because there's always three of them. There has to be one of each colour. And that gives you the idea of conservation of colour. Like conservation of mass and energy.
Oh, man. Oh, awesome stuff.
Retarded.
Anyway.
That sounds like a race debate there. Conservation of colour.
Subatomic race. What a great topic.
Particle physics is racist.
Muon. So anyway.
See, that's what Ros F1 is actually all about.
Muon.
They're muons.
That's their race, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weird, not really alien races made out of rock.
Yes.
Man, that show made so little sense. No matter how many times you watch
And
it.
then every time it's like, it gives you the slight hint of, oh, maybe there's an answer coming. And then it goes off on a complete another fucking tangent.
And then the ending is just a complete clusterfuck where it's like, what the shit is going on? And then right at the very end, it just does a complete U-turn and has another completely different ending.
It's just like, let's just start again.
No, that was great.
It's
awesome, but completely freaking confusing.
Yeah, just enjoy the spectacle of robot-on-robot action.
Well, that's all you watch Japanese animes for, really. Yeah, they're all about robots fighting robots. Or as I described it one time, it's all about, you have your protagonist guy, and then he gets a giant robot for some reason, and then he has to fight other giant robots. But the fights are always like...
It's Full Metal Panic you're describing here.
It's like, the fights are always like... It's like, oh no, there's an enemy robot, I must go fight it. Oh no, I'm being defeated somehow. Oh, I'm emo. Oh wait, victory! Like always snatch victory from the hands of defeat by becoming less emo for a moment.
But it's worse than that, isn't it? Normally the emo is what is required to trigger some secret feature of the metal walker they're currently in.
Or like he has a revelation in his emo phase.
It's an internal monologue. It's like, if only I just believed in myself.
Yeah, there's like
maybe my power level will top 9,000.
And then the enemy just blows up instantly. There's no actual fight.
Well, Barlow was going on the other day about how in Japanese animation, nearly the entire cast has to die. And, like, everyone has to die honourably for their friends. It's vitally important.
Or if it's Bleach, nearly die.
Well,
repeatedly.
Yeah, it's like there's three options, really. It's like, there's the one where they nearly die over and over, and there's the one where they just die over the course or there's the obvious one where everyone dies at the end.
Yeah, everyone dies at the end.
Everyone dies.
And then normally the entire world gets recreated somehow, so no one dies.
Yeah.
Conveniently.
Some magic or some shit. I don't know. Yep.
So anyway.
Anime, or Japanimation as it used to be known for some
The
reason.
annoying thing is that even the ones that are nothing to do with giant stomping robots somehow manage to get a similar theme in there. Like Trigun, do you remember? It's like, it's an awesome Western sort of thing for practically the entire thing. Until the last fucking episode where it's like, oh, we've got giant lasers for hands.
Well, there was a build-up to that.
Well,
the giant lasers for hands did appear
And
several
then the
times.
last episode is basically just, well, they're not really robots, but they might as well be, 'cause it's the same style fight.
Well, they're also not like human or whatever, so
Yeah.
that's completely fucked.
Her name is Yoshimi.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Got a black belt in karate.
So many spoilers. We just spoiled every anime ever just describing the trope.
Except for perhaps Azumanga Daioh. I don't think they have robots.
I don't know. I bet they do in at least one episode.
Disguised as penguins.
Probably.
Gym teachers.
Or cats.
Or the sort of soppy manga that exists, you know, the ones that are like, I suppose, girl manga, I guess. It's actually
girl
like a
manga.
romance story. And it's...
There's a whole subgenre of like that, isn't there? Girl manga. I can't remember what it's called.
Like, Aioi Aoshi is an example.
There's loads of it though.
Okay.
So anyway,
Go completely. This is a totally different, like.
video games.
Over to the manga cast!
Yeah, exactly. Totally
Yeah.
different podcast.
Yes, let's talk about video games.
I haven't watched any of that shit for years.
I'm thinking we should watch Rise of F1 again.
Should we watch something else?
Yeah, there's some new. Isn't there some new like Neon Genesis Evangelion or
No,
something?
Oh, fuck that shit.
No, what's it? Brotherhood?
Figure.
Something. I can't remember. Anyway, there's some new Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's supposed to be good.
Fuck for the Red Alchemist. I didn't.
No, this
enjoy
is
that
like a
one.
reboot.
Yeah, I don't like. They rebooted it like several times though, and it's always been terrible.
I don't know, I didn't mind it.
Or average, at least.
Yeah. It was average is the description, yeah. It wasn't bad.
Okay, there must be something.
Yeah, but we don't know anything. That's the trouble. Does
I'll have
Barlow
to
still
figure it
know
out.
everything about anime ever? Can we ask him?
I don't know.
So the Steam sale's on.
Just go on the
Yeah.
anime subreddit
Yes.
and find out what the top posts are.
Afro
the top,
Samurai.
Magic.
the top face on that will all be like Evangelion again. Because that's all they ever talk about.
Is it? I haven't been on there. Okay,
So the Steam sale's
so the
on.
Steam sale's on.
But nothing good is coming out of it.
Well,
no, Limbo for £2.
yeah, or
You could have
yeah,
bought that on the Xbox.
it's 150, wasn't it?
Not for
Something.
200 points. Which has been the equivalent.
Unless that's been on sale on the Xbox at some point.
I got all the Grand
Up
Theft
to 200
Auto
points,
that I
maybe.
already owned, which included GTA 1, GTA 2, GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4, all the expansion packs for £5. It's fucking ridiculous.
That is a bargain.
You already own them all though.
I know, but now they're on Steam.
Plus, I don't want to play any of them, so...
Maybe GTA 2.
Yeah.
Oh, no, GTA 2 was amazing.
Yeah.
Even the first one was amazing.
I think you can get that for free anyway, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should do like an Explore, like, new GTA in the top-down style.
Well, they did those Chinatown Wars things for DS. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but they did them for DS.
I know, but you can get it for, I don't know, iPad. They should put that on
Again.
Explore, though, you're right.
It requires buttons on the iPad.
Yeah.
I refuse to play anything that uses soft buttons.
No, you're quite right to do that. Just delete that shit. Anyway.
But yeah, Limbo for £2 was alright. And we picked up Magicka in the...
pre-sale.
Pre-sale.
Yeah, in the pre-sale.
It was a random
weekend.
Was it a
Crazy
weekend
deal.
or was it a daily one?
I think it was because it was a free weekend, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It started as a free weekend. We played 2 hours of it, and we were like, "Shit, yeah, this is awesome!" So bought it.
Awesomely retarded.
Yeah, for £4 with all the DLC.
Which we probably won't get around to playing.
No, true.
We'll get through the normal campaign.
I can dress like a like cardboard tube samurai, which I'm happy with. So
Rage is like 15 quid for the next hour or so.
News!
Yeah.
Listen to this right now before we finish recording it, somehow.
check out this outdated news.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the Steam sale will be pretty much over. What, isn't it over by now? When's it over? Like,
I think it
tomorrow.
finishes on Monday, I think.
Yeah, this might be the last set of deals.
So this is still completely
Come
fucking
on.
news.
Yeah, this is pointless news. But still, there
But
you
we
go.
bought Magicka, so I guess we should talk about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Moving on to games we've been playing.
Magicka! Yeah, that's basically the only new thing I think I've played this week.
Kind of.
But it's just mental in a way.
And we were only playing it with 2 people as well. You can go up to 4.
Yeah, let's just try and describe what it is. In fact, it's like a top-down, story-based Diablo-esque sort of action RPG.
But slightly
I
tongue-in-cheek,
guess.
right?
Very tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
It's like the story tries to sort of build itself up, and but they voice acted everything. Every part of the game has voice acting, and it's unique
Not
to each
actually
bit. It's not
voice
like
acting, really.
it's not. Well, I'm getting to that. It's not like they've just gibberished each line. They've sort of Swedish chefed every line.
Oh, yeah.
And so, it's not like you go to it and it does like the Pokemon or classic old school console thing where it's like, oh no, the Lilac Wars effect was
Or Sims.
yeah.
I guess
or
Simlish supposedly
Simlish.
does actually have some basis
Simlish.
of
Yeah,
actual,
they've actually spoken every line. Some of it is really funny, like comfortable. I think it came out as scrumpy comfy.
Awesome.
And one war for some reason was like crack. It's just like that's pretty hilarious. It's not, I don't care about the actual storyline. It's just I just listen to those and pick out the odd word and what it translates to. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Moose. And there's dead moose for some reason.
So you
Someone very succinctly said bork, bork, bork at some point.
Yes, they did. Bork, bork, bork.
What, like, what?
No, like the
Like
Swedish,
Swedish
chef.
chef.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so that's hilarious on its own. But the sort of main hook of the game is that it's like co-op, mash the enemies as best you can. But you get given 8 elements with which to combine in any way you choose. The game basically just doesn't tell you how to do most of the
recipes,
your classic spell list. So it's like you have to come up with it, and some of the elements combine to form another element and things like that. And then you have the ability 3 different firing solutions as well. So you can choose to just fire it forwards, fire it with your weapon, or area effect. And they all have different effects and different deployment tactics and things like that. For instance, if you just make a straight shield and deploy it normally, you get like a semicircle of shield in front of you. If you area effect it, you get a bubble around you in every direction.
And
if you weapon attack it...
If you cast it on yourself, you get a personal shield, which is totally useful.
Oh yeah, that's a 4th deployment. Yeah, I forgot about that. Your self-cast as well, where it casts whatever you've got lined up upon your person.
Which can be really bad if you push that accidentally.
Yeah.
Like, I've just casted a meteor on my power self.
Fuck. If I'm going down, I'm taking a shit ton of stuff with me. Yeah, so it's pretty good, and you start immediately just playing with it, finding out what the fuck you can do, which is great. And like halfway through our play session, we discovered like the weapon deployment, which we didn't realise. It's like, how did you make that line of shield? It's like, oh, if you hold shift and attack with your weapon, then it attaches your magic to your weapon.
But you also had to determine how to make it go in a line rather than like.
Yeah, so if you like, so you can, which led to some crazy tactics. Like, for instance, one of our most devastating and dangerous forms of attack was get Zach to build walls of rocks in a straight line that were infused with arcane magic so they exploded upon being destroyed, and then get me to trigger them to explode by building a line of arcane mines which would immediately explode upon contact with the rock and just causing everything to go whoop boom.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, but incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, it's so easy to kill yourself all the time.
It's like if you accidentally push the wrong combo, like surround yourself in exploding rocks.
You can't do
You're in
anything.
trouble. If one of those rocks goes up, the whole lot will go up, and you're in the middle of all of it, and you just die immediately.
Sounds epic.
It's just
That was with 2 people as well.
So you
Yeah.
can go up to 4.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like even with just 2 of us on screen, the action is mental.
So does that include, or will you play Magicka Vietnam?
Oh, I've played one of the I've tried to solo a challenge level on that, which is
Alright.
basically the guns just unbalance everything.
Oh,
'Cause
right,
it's like-
okay.
But they're incredible. You don't really need to use your magic when you're carrying an M60.
Fair
Just sort of
enough.
sitting bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
But it is friggin' funny because eventually some of the enemies start getting guns and start shooting back, and it's
Awesome.
it's quite entertaining. Plus,
Is it-
I just like the art, the parody art they did. They took the Battlefield Bad Company 2 box
Yeah.
art and replaced it with wizards.
Awesome.
It's just
Just a
quality.
wizard like walking with
Yeah.
fire on
and a
the...
couple of dragons fighting in the background.
So is it difficult?
Sort of yes and no, because you can as long as one of you is alive, it's
can
quite
res.
easy to revive each other. It's
Right.
like literally you only have to combine like 2 elements together and
To get a
use
res
the
spell.
special.
But you
card
have to do it in the right order, which is what we were having problems
Yeah.
with for a while.
Some of the more fancy magic, like the flame waves and things, require you to get a precise set of buttons in.
In a specific order.
Yeah.
It's like the flame wave, you have to have alternating steam and fire.
Yeah, and steam is made by doing fire and water as well, so it's not just 5 button presses, which is your maximum queue size. You have to combine them to make one part of the queue. So to make it's like, what is it, fire, water, fire, fire, water, fire, fire, water, fire, 3 times just to get your flame waves. You're sitting there going,
Yeah, I see.
fire! And it's
Awesome.
like, but then usually when you do those big ones, they're quite powerful, or the ridiculous lightning bolt, which we found was quite dangerous because you can't predict sometimes where it's going to land. So it'll sometimes kill yourself or your teammate. And it's like
Awesome.
does like 9,000 damage to something immediately. It's like splat!
1,000!
Or Crash to Desktop is entertaining because that just basically kills a random thing on screen, and that could be friendly or otherwise, and it causes them to blue screen and disappear.
Crash the desktop. Sweet. Man, that sounds pretty cool.
It's pretty hilarious.
How long?
The only problem is that once you've started toying with it and you're starting to like run out of things you can think of.
Yeah,
it's
we've settled on the explosive rocks as our main weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you
well,
can
you-
choose one.
some of the sort of push effects, which is if you don't apply any magic, can be useful, especially if you're soloing, because the enemies just all charge at you when
Yeah.
you're soloing, and it makes it quite difficult. Having more players means that there's more of a split field, so you can do other things.
They should make it so stuff gets less powerful than when you use it, and then
Yeah.
the stuff that you haven't used gets more powerful, and then
I
so
think
you have
they've-
to keep switching it up.
They've almost designed it quite perfectly, because the game's not massively long. I mean, we got about most of the way through it in the 2 hours, the first 2 hour session we did of it.
Like
And,
2/3 or something.
Yeah, so there's not much left, and by that point we'd pretty much discovered, I think, most of the
Basics.
So
Most
one
of
of
the
those
basic
games that gets
recipes.
like super easy once you
figured it
level
out.
up. and
Well, you don't
know.
level up.
Oh, right.
You never level up.
You just-
The only thing that you can level up is you find special recipes
And random weapons.
and weapons, yeah, that sometimes have like passive effects and active effects. So like the emergency teleportation wand, which would get you out of the problem of surrounding yourself with exploding rocks, and things like that. And yeah, but I think by the time you probably reached the game, you probably mastered the element system. You've come up with the attack that you like and that works well. But even then, sort of even towards the end of that, we were still discovering new things like combining beams.
Yeah.
Like the 2 beam, if
To
2
cross the
yeah,
beams.
exactly. If two, well, and there might be
Streams.
more for like 3 or 4 players that we haven't discovered.
Cool.
So if like 2 people fire, and sometimes they can be opposing beam types,
And then they
like,
just explode.
and they just explode on the spot where they hit. Or you can combine them, and you end up with a triangle, like with the extra beam coming out being even more powerful than the 2 you're firing in. So you can have a solid uber beam of doom, and they can be infused with all the magics you're firing into it. So it's like, one person fires an arcane beam, and everyone fires a lightning beam. Then you end up with a super arcane lightning beam.
Sweet.
Or you could get ridiculous, because some of them don't strangely mix, don't they? It's like you can combine the healing life beam with flame or something.
Virtually anything you can buy with healing makes it incredibly pointless. It's like, I'm going to heal myself and injure myself at the same time.
But that can be useful, though, because the wizards are quite weirdly status affected. Like every other enemy, you're not immune from your own status dealing. So you can get frozen, you can get on fire, you can get wet, which is for some reason bad for wizards.
You get frozen and you can't use lightning.
Yeah, it's annoying. If you're damp and you try and cast lightning, you just immediately shock yourself. You're like, ow!
And since you need to
you have to flame yourself in order to put yourself out, but not flame yourself too much so you catch on fire.
And since you need to since lightning is one of the components of the resurrect spell, it's really annoying if you're wet and you're like, oh shit, I need to res, and then you forget that you're wet and you just keep shocking yourself over and over again to cast res.
Oh shit, I'm killing myself.
But
But you surely, like, maybe you were defibbing yourself, and that happened precisely at the right time. It's like, oh, I've electrocuted myself back to life.
don't you look kind of like Jawas, like robes, but no face that you can see? Is that Magicka?
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't even have the glowing yellow eyes of
Jawas. Yeah,
black mage. Phase. But
Jawas have black glowing eyes.
Which comes first?
1977.
That would have been a long time before Final Fantasy.
I guess. but did Japan know about Star Wars by the time they were making the
They
first...
must have known immediately about Star Wars.
I don't know.
Star Wars!
Yeah,
made a Japanese spin-off. That would have been
All the Chinese, you know.
They don't have A-wings, they just have mecha walkers that fly in space.
Probably.
And walk across the Death Star.
I suspect there is an anime like that.
I saw an awesome Shogun helmet, but with Darth Vader style, because it already looks kind of like a Shogun helmet.
Well, they are like basically samurai Jedi.
Well, yeah, they're based on samurai, aren't they?
Yeah, the long cloaks and everything.
And the sword fighting is kendo style rather than Western style, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like
kendo.
Japanese
Doc.
style. Exactly, Doc, and that would work especially well with a laser sword because you just go straight through their head, rather than you wouldn't need to do the whole Western style massive
swoop,
lungy swings of doom. Indeed.
I always wondered why they don't just walk up to each other and just go shove slightly through the heart, like just go.
Or just a thrust.
No, not even a thrust, just like a really gentle prod, sort of like.
You have to get close.
You don't even need to be vigorous. It's just like you don't have to move at any speed or anything. It's
no.
Oh man, it makes
that was
really
the thing
nasty
about
torture movies out of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
and lightsabers. Can you just I'm just going to slowly descend this lightsaber into your groin?
Yeah, that's nasty. That was kind of the point about the samurai swords,
because they were ludicrously
they're so sharp that you only had to do a little tap into the head and it would just go. That'd be the end of them.
Dunk.
Yeah, you didn't have to do a big swing. You just went like that.
I just love the concept of it. It's just funny, isn't it? Duck.
And you had to say men at the same time.
Men.
Because men means head or something. Men. Or head attack.
Oh, right. Because of course you have to announce all your attacks in any Japanese.
But you did when you were doing the training, the fighting.
Yeah, I guess.
You had to say something at the same time because it was scary.
So would it be dishonourable to go girls instead? Or...
Yeah, exactly. And it was men. I don't know why, but that's just how it was. Indeed. Yeah. So yes, Magicka.
Highly recommend.
Excellent.
Well, if it's cheap.
Yeah.
Especially when it's cheap.
It's freaking funny. I'm not so sure about the DLC, to be honest, because the DLC only really adds a couple of challenge levels and ridiculous amounts of costumes.
Yeah.
And they're all a bit overpriced if you were to buy them outside of a bundle, because you're then paying 60p for a costume, which for a game of that type where your character is 10 pixels high.
Yeah.
The costumes come with specific weapons as well, though.
Oh, do they?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, all of them.
I think in the challenge maps you don't get.
I guess that makes sense.
You get them, but for the, I think for the story mode that you get them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, as I say, I just dress up like a samurai. It's awesome.
Nice. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so I recommend that one.
Okay. I'm gonna quickly talk about some stuff I've been playing, I think, at this point. And then
really?
And then I shall transfer onto some more serious stuff that you
if
guys
it's
have been
Assassin's
playing.
Creed, can we kill you?
You're the one that's played Assassin's Creed. Have you played
I was trying not to mention it, to be fair. Well,
Really?
my opinions haven't changed on it. I've been playing it, but I've been...
I was wondering if you got to Forley and seen the high-speed Sky, because we were talking about Sky.
Oh, yes, it does move quite fast. It moves even faster when you turn on frickin' Eagle Vision that seems to have the bizarre side effect of making the sky move hella fast anyway. So in this place, it's like... Oh, man,
It's fucking windy, yeah. It doesn't look it to your character.
I haven't had to do anything important in Forley yet.
Yeah.
It's like you just sort of travel through it, and I'm wondering if the story returns to it or if it's just an optional place.
No, there is some stuff there, and also there's like DLC that happens there, which I didn't do.
Falling. Coincidentally.
Yeah, it's indeed. But there's some woman there that
Katerina or something.
Yeah, she's vaguely important to the story, I think.
So I'm presumably that'll happen, because I've got 2 areas of Venice left to unlock, I think.
Right, yeah.
Venice is nice, and it's like, having been to Venice, I was in the interesting position of saying, I wonder if I can find the exact locations where I've been.
Yeah.
But immediately struck by the fact that the scale is weird. It's not quite right.
Well, I'm not surprised.
No, but Venice in real life is considerably bigger than the game representation.
Of course.
But even certain areas aren't quite right, like St. Mark's Square, or San Marcos, whichever you want to call it.
St. Mark's Square.
It's quite a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And the distance between the Campanile and the Basilica is quite a lot smaller.
Yeah.
It's so I was a bit annoyed because a part of me was going, I wonder if I could find that precise location of where I got that really stylish photo of me sitting eating an ice cream wearing my stupid hat.
Or find that pizza shop.
Yeah, or find the Jazz Cafe, which wouldn't have been a Jazz Cafe, but at least the same place. But no, it's not.
It's completely.
But the feel is right.
Yeah,
the feel is definitely right. But it's
It looks especially good looks especially good at night, I think, like in the canals and stuff. Sometimes.
Yeah, I suppose it's hard for me to make that judgment because obviously it's like twilight nowadays as opposed to dark. And the game doesn't really have like proper black night anyway.
No,
it's sort of
all lit,
grey.
Yeah,
grey
bluey.
Yeah. So but my same problems still stand. Like I did the San Marco Assassin's Tomb.
Cool. You don't like those
I don't like them.
You can just skip them. You should just skip them if you don't like them.
No, because I wanted to get the old Tayera on. Bitches.
Yeah, it's not that important though, really.
But it's one of those things that tells you to do.
Must put myself through stuff I don't like.
Know, it's just the fucking free running. It's so frustrating. Like that section, it wasn't as bad as the one where I was climbing the Duomo or something on the.
As we discussed before, you don't know how to pronounce
No, I don't. The Duomo of Florence. But it wasn't as bad as that section. But there were still some weird sort of moments where, and even Naomi, who's been starting to play the game from scratch, is struggling to get the controls to... Admittedly, she's not much of a gamer, so, don't hold that against her. But, she often gets quite confused. It's like, why did it go in that direction? I'm not pushing anything like that direction.
Yeah, and that's a general problem with the series. But it's got better, but it's, you just get used to it as
There
well.
are a few bits of, occasionally you come across the odd item that looks like it's climbable. Because for some reason, the tiniest possible ledges, the sills of windows are fully graspable elements when you're climbing up stuff, but then you get what looks like a fairly large nodule that you can I should be able to grab that, and you can't for some reason, or there'll be a corner that for some reason you can't traverse around, even though it's easier than the ridiculous sort of I've just swung round a ladder in stylish fashion. I think it's some of the easier moves for some reason aren't possible. There's a weird disconnect.
I think Assassin's Creed is probably one of the hardest mainstream console games to control.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's got a lot of controls, a lot of functions that you can do, and it's finicky, and it does work. It's just compared to something simple like Call of Duty or whatever, or your average game doesn't have that on console. Doesn't have that complexity.
It is trying to do a lot, and for the most part, I don't have a problem with the complexity of the controls. I think they've got. Where everything lives on the controller is quite nicely done. I just wish that the free running would do what you wanted it to do, and maybe that's some level of ESP required. But
it needs to get into your brain.
But even some, it's just the simpler things the same problem I had with the first game where you're having to go pole to pole, to cross the waters or things like that. That seems to be the bit where it goes most wrong. It just decides to go off on a diagonal after 2 jumps. And it's I haven't changed any of my inputs, and I'm still running in a straight line, and you've decided on your own that you want to go and do something different. And it's that's not right.
There's slightly more magnetism required on those poles sometimes.
Yeah, something like that. It's just a bit... Or then how easy it is to accidentally go into the hobble up a wall animation when you're in the middle of a mid-sprint or something. You're like, oh fuck, gotta get away from these fucking guards, and you suddenly go, I'm just gonna do a little dance on this wall.
It's like, oh, what the fuck are you doing?
Entertain me, guards. So yeah, bit frustrating, but yeah, still getting through it.
Cool.
I think I've got my. I see what I mean
game.
about the economy being fucked up though, because I've got to the point.
Oh,
where
yeah, you get
I've
to-
restored everything, and now I'm getting shit tons of money.
You just get infinite
And it's,
cash after that point.
Yeah, which it's not much of a problem.
It's kind of
Just means I
cool
don't have to worry about it, but-
while you're doing stuff up. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
After that point, it becomes pointless.
Yeah, but I think it leads me to think that there's not much of the game left, but
No, there's still.
there's still fucking
game.
tons,
Yeah.
which is at this point is actually almost discouraging because it's like, really, how much more?
It's a long game.
There's a lot. I've just done the first flying section as well.
Oh, cool. Well, you're quite relatively far through at this point, I think.
Okay, good.
So don't worry too much.
I might have a break. To be
Yeah,
honest,
fair enough. Okay.
Talking about it.
Move on to oh shit! Yeah, for not talking about
You
it.
brought it
quite a lot.
up, and you brought it up and talked about it.
Fuck.
Yeah. So anyway,
Apologies.
What were you saying about
And have you
what
played-
you were playing?
I finished Deus Ex.
Oh, thank God.
So
we can talk about the
We
stupid
talk about the
bits.
ending or whatever.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
No
so
spoilers alert. It's ancient at this point. That was on sale as well.
Yeah, it was 15
not
quid.
ancient.
It's good.
It was like-
It's ancient for modern games. If you haven't finished it by this point and you bought it when it came out, then what the fuck have you been doing?
You
Be
probably
like
listening
me
to
and
that just
probably
now.
waiting for some opportune
You should probably have got that
moment
in the
where I
Steam
have no
sale there.
backlog.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good when you get around to it, I think. But yeah, so at last time I had just done that
The
stupid boss, and then from then on, like the final base, whatever,
Yeah.
doesn't have any normal sneaky action or normal guards or anything at all.
No.
So it's
all
like-
crazy people. You can sort of sneak
Yeah.
past them.
You can, but the game is basically over at
Yeah.
that point. So I was a bit disappointed because the base itself looks way cool,
But that's where
especially from the outside.
that's where the PEPS gun comes in.
Yeah.
Just blow them all down.
Yeah, that was fun actually. I did because I had loads of ammo for it.
Yeah.
So I was
Like,
just like,
you've been saving the entire game, even though you didn't know why you were
Yeah.
saving it, but it was for that.
they ran towards you in a nice straight line, just like Skittles. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. The stupid, like the characters in it, like there's things I like the art design and I like a lot of the gameplay.
Right.
So artistically, I think it's good from some points of view, but like story wise, it's like no matter even if the story is dumb and confusing. To be fair, the first Deus Ex game was even more dumb and even more confusing, even though it was cool because it got you to a lot
Sort
more
of on
cool
purpose.
locations. Yeah, but the characters in this are just not as good. I don't think.
Well, apart from your boss, he's like the
Yeah,
he's the
he's
most
cool.
characterized person.
Yeah, he's all right.
The other opposing
David
factions
Sarah.
are just like, I'm a guy in a business suit.
But at the end, there's like talking to Hugh Darrow or whatever, and it's like
Hugh Dennis.
I can't even remember who this guy is, and he's like supposed to be the key
Well,
guy.
the fact that there was even three it wasn't just like opposed and for organization. It was like, here's this other third faction who's sort of neutral, but not really.
I'm
The
on
don't care faction.
well, the let's drive everyone insane faction.
Yeah, it's like, let's fuck this all up for everyone.
Like,
Templars.
well, no, he was like, yeah, the Templars were in Deus Ex.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, totally.
Of course they were. They used every conspiracy ever. As
There
you
was a
said.
Templar cathedral that you had to in the original Deus Ex.
I probably never got that far.
That's freaking sweet. Anyway, that was when like Icarus started talking to you and stuff, and you had to kill Gunter Hermann at the end of the cathedral.
Oh, maybe I did do that bit. I
with
did
the-
kill Gunther.
Oh, you probably did do the Templar
I
cathedral.
just didn't notice it was a Templar.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Hugh Darrow, I don't know. And then the thing was, the credits rolled, and right at the end there was a bit with just voice, but it was Bob Page.
Yeah.
For the original, and it's like, holy shit, that character was awesome. Like compared to all the characters in this, I didn't even think he was that great before, but like he's like truly evil, Bob Page, in like an amazing way.
Yeah.
He's like insane and crazy awesome.
And
It's
has
like
this ridiculous, like,
accent. I don't know.
it has, like, this ridiculous, like, corporation to control and create all this shit for him.
Yeah, and do you remember the characters like Maggie Chow was like this insane bitch with a laser sword, and then there's like all these mental characters in the first game, and like obviously Anna Navarro and Gunter Hermann are awesome and stuff.
Yeah.
Who was there in this? David Sarif.
Yeah.
What was the woman that you had to fight as the end boss? She was lame. The Tai Young medical.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost forgot that she was there.
Yeah, it's like she's
Just
the
like
final boss.
she turns up.
Yeah,
Because there's that hot when you're in her building and it's like, oh no, she's activated her safe room.
yeah. I don't know.
Go in there.
It's like I don't know, that whole. It's a cool game. I like. As I say, it looks amazing. Gameplay wise, it did a nice refinement of what a Deus Ex game means in 2011 or whatever. And it was really fun to play the stealth sections and stuff. And you did have lots of options. That's the thing about Deus Ex. It's not like Splinter Cell where you have to sneak everywhere. You could do whatever the hell you want. You know, you could go different directions.
With the exception of the latest Splinter Cell.
Oh yeah, but that looked terrible. That really did look terrible. Like for me. Anyway, that was on sale. That was like £2. I was like, no, not playing that. But yeah, my end sequence that I chose.
Just go and see all of them for the achievement.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of them for the achievements, but the one that
spoiler alert,
the one that I chose. This isn't really a big spoiler, but while they're talking about the Illuminati ruling the world, they had like a 3-second lingering shot of Tony Blair. It was really hilarious. It was like, evil people will control the world, and there's Tony Blair like, smiling. It was really funny. Yeah. I was like, what the hell is this? That's like libelous or something.
They're having a bizarre stab at British politics.
It's mysterious, because it's like Canadian, the makers of it.
Canadians hate Blair.
Apparently.
They probably did. Maybe.
I don't know. It was mysterious. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really remember it.
Yeah.
I just watched all 4 of those sequences in a row, just reloaded the save over and over and watched all of them for the achievement. It was like, well, that was dumb. That was the shittest ending choice ever. Push this button.
Push this button for this ending. Push this button for this ending. At least in the original game, you had to wander down the hall if you wanted to get a different ending. I mean,
and it was sort of in like a different physical space. It wasn't just like a computer console with 3 buttons.
Yeah, you had to do different things in order to, because I always liked the merge with computer one.
Yeah, of course.
But that's the awesomest one, because you get to like become benevolent dictator of the entire world, which is clearly awesome. But like the Tracer Tong one was in like a sort of reactor, and you had to set it to overload, didn't you, and blow everything
blow
up.
Up the internet.
And what was the other? What's the last ending? What's the Illuminati ending?
It was like
let Bob
Page merge or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what you had to do.
Yeah. And you had to kill Bob Page for that one, didn't you? Simple as that.
Wasn't there what?
I can't remember. Anyway, but that was significantly more varied, and you got to talk to your brother towards the end to make the direct
Even
choices.
though it is still kind of an end of game ending-omatic.
Yeah, it is endomatic, but it's not quite so blatant as like, yeah, we just made 3 video sequences and we just pick the sequence by pressing the right button.
Make sure you quick save first.
Well, the thing is, there are more endings because you get one. There's choice, but also each choice comes with a sequence for how you behave during the game. So there's like a good ending for each choice.
Sort
of, and a bad ending.
Although it's such an incredibly tiny change, the was I good or was I get bad thing.
Yeah. So apparently I was good. I was killing people. I don't know. I wasn't non-lethal completely.
Yeah, I don't know. There must be some kind of cut off of course.
Presumably, it's probably not complete. Like, oh, you've killed one person, you're bad.
Yeah,
because obviously there's the achievement for that.
Yeah, that must be a pain.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff.
Like
the opening section, yeah.
Like I said, like the opening section is obviously impossible, and like I said, that bit right at the end where when I was using the POPS and it accidentally chucked an explosive barrel which hit a dude and killed him.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
It's like,
happens.
fuck.
Yeah.
Can you reload and it still count, or does it like?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can reload.
You would hope.
You'd hope so.
It'd be quite harsh.
It'd be fucking impossible to get that Foxiest of the Hounds thing where you didn't set off a single alarm unless you could reload.
I don't know. That one's probably not as difficult as not killing anyone.
Yeah.
Because the alarms are quite lenient. You have like several seconds where it'll be in like preparing to alarm phase.
Yeah.
It's classic style, isn't it?
Yeah, with the cameras and shit.
Yeah.
And even the guards.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Huh?
Oh.
You should take them out quick before they notice.
Yeah. I got the what did I spend my points on towards the end? Like I upgraded the sprint to insane levels, so you can just boost around like a crazy fucking motherfucker at that point.
Kind of pointless.
And I also cheated the final boss because all you need is the laser rifle and you can shoot her straight through the glass. You know, it's like instant.
I didn't even know what I was doing most of the time in that boss.
It takes like 2 seconds.
Open the things and then shoot the people inside the things. It's like, is this actually working? I can't tell because they don't appear to be taking any damage. And then they die somehow. And then random insane people start coming out of the walls.
Oh, do they?
It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know.
Shoot the rotating turrets.
I don't know. It's just like Sonic. Pew! End. I don't know.
That
Yeah.
last boss was dumb.
Cool game. Dumb ending. Pretty dumb story.
Dumb bosses.
Dumb bosses. But
So good mechanics,
When
just
you're
mired
actually-
by sort of
yeah.
typical Squeenix nonsense.
when you're actually in the game, which is the majority of the time, because it takes a long time to sneak around an entire base, like that last base.
Yeah, but that's only because, like, you have to be slow for sneaking.
Yeah. So 90% of the playtime of the game is pretty sweet, I would say. 10%,
Just some weird
Yeah.
moments.
and just
Basically, the game doesn't do climax very well.
Well, no.
that's true. Yeah.
Then again, I suppose that style of game just struggles with that concept to a degree. If
Well,
you,
Deus Ex
you have a
managed it.
game about sort of stealthiness and sneaking and stuff, it's hard to be climatic unless the like narrative
Climactic.
Yeah.
it's just like the gameplay almost can't be. That's a word, or is it climactic? Or
Yeah, if you were climatic, you'd be like a weather system or something.
That's it, yeah.
climactic? There you go.
Well, the original
It's not-
game did it with plot and with amazing changes of setting, like waking up in that prison under your, and you didn't know it was under your base, and then you.
Which they
Stuff
tried
like
to
that.
obviously steal from the new one.
Sorry.
Get in this sleep pod and then wake up in a
Yeah, but that
different
was
place.
shit. That was nowhere
Yeah,
near
I suppose
as
there was
good.
the odd sort of like dramatic combat section, wasn't there? Like the
Yeah, they were
attack on
terrible,
your-
but yeah.
the-
Oh
well,
yeah, the attack on
the apartment was fine.
Yeah, that was cool.
Tricky,
Yeah.
but fine.
Yeah. Hanging
Unless
out
you
inside
learn
the
it.
lobby of the Ton Hotel with all those idiot UNACO troopers running around, trying to take them out one by one.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, yes. So anyway, Deus Ex. They'll probably make another.
They'll probably make some more DLC.
Well, they're making Thief, aren't they? Apparently, they're increasing their numbers at that studio by like 100. Or
Wow,
yeah, they're hiring.
that's an increase.
They're taking on another franchise, and in addition to Thief and Deus Ex,
Yeah, really? Okay, so yeah. So even with 100 extra people, that's quite a push.
something like that. And there's something else like Square Enix are setting up a new studio in Montreal as well. So it's like, because in Canada there's all those tax breaks for game developers.
Yeah.
So it's probably something to do with that.
Bigger, yeah. That's why everyone has a studio in Montreal, isn't it? There's
Yeah.
Ubisoft and 2K and
Yeah,
Do Rockstar must have in Montreal, do they?
I don't think so.
But anyway, there's a ton of them.
I can't remember where all the Rockstar.
I was about to say, was it completely Canadian then, the Deus Ex dev? Because it's IDOS, isn't it? Essentially,
It is,
the team
yeah.
behind it, and they're British.
No, it was Canadian, I think. Yeah, the team.
Don't know
They
where
all
the
sounded-
outsourced boss people were though.
No, I don't know where they were. I think they're American, probably. But you could tell from kind of behind the scenes stuff that the way they talk, they were slightly sort of.
Actually,
they've
no,
got
that sort of part of IDOS is probably working on the new Tomb Raider
exactly, yeah. That's probably what they're doing.
because that's their baby, really.
Yeah,
That they bought off someone else.
yeah, but what core from
Yeah.
Guildford?
Well, yeah, but they ended up.
Crystal
It
Dynamics.
was like it was like a sort of like merge with stealing your staff, wasn't it? It wasn't like a complete steal.
Yeah.
They didn't really buy it so much as the call was kind of like going out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, okay, we'll take you.
Exactly. So yeah, that was Deus Ex. I don't know what else to say about that.
No.
I don't know how it's going to figure into Game of the Year stuff. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, other game I've been playing, DiRT3y,
Because you purchased that like yesterday.
because I purchased it last week.
Yeah,
And,
it was half price on the weekend deal.
I would just say that I did upgrade my PC as we discussed before, and it's all working fine. Had a bit of a panic installing the cooler on the graphics card, but because it didn't quite fit, because it wasn't a reference
right.
design of card, so I had one of the coolers. I had to use the old one, but it wouldn't fit because the new cooler that goes on top had like massive more metal, more fins and stuff. So I had to bend the copper fins that were on the old one over into like a fan shape instead of straight up, so I could get it to fit. But it seems fine. I mean, it runs a lot cooler than it did before.
When
So
you say you're putting coolers on your card,
yeah.
why?
Well, it's like mainly noise,
Noise. Okay, yeah.
but also it does keep it cooler if you care about that sort of thing. There's no real point because like
Still
they
draining the
wouldn't.
same power and stuff. And
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I suppose noise is quite nice because the graphics cards do wear out quite a lot.
yeah. I mean, my one went
I'd be more
whoosh,
yeah.
like during gaming. Now I've got it so that I just set it to A speed, which is quiet, and it never changes because I have it plugged into the motherboard rather than the graphics cards thing. And when I go into game, gets up to about 53. And
quite
it used to
impressive.
go to like 70 or something.
Mine goes to 90.
Yeah. So basically, and that's without it, as I say, without it dynamically changing the speed at all. So that's pretty nice.
After an extended Battlefield section, mine's hovering around 90.
Yeah.
Which I can't help but think is, that's ridiculous.
And it's not going, woo!
You need to clean your PC, really.
Yeah.
I clean it quite often. I get my carbon dioxide spray can out and go, dust it. And then go outside and cough up my lungs.
Yeah.
But I'd say that changing the GPU cooler is one of the most extreme. It's probably the most unnecessary and extreme thing that I have done.
Take apart most of the, as you said, you have to
take
take apart most of the card to get.
You have to take the stock cooler off, which
is enormous.
Depending, and they change design. Like you can't tell how easy it's going to be to take off necessarily. It's not like, because obviously CPU coolers, they're built. You know, the socket is built to accept whatever cooler according to the standard.
It's specific because the motherboards. Yeah, when you build the motherboard, you have to support whatever's going onto it.
But the GPU cards, they're like proprietary. Like they could be hopefully they're the reference design of the card from Radeon or Nvidia. But the manufacturers have the
ability to change it.
Yeah.
All they need is the chipset and the architecture. Everything else is...
Exactly, they can do what they like. So sometimes you can take it off, open it up, and then it turns out your new cooler doesn't fit, which is what happened. And I kind of made a mess of it, but it does work fine. Although it looks in the case, because it's so long and this thing is so big, it looks like it's sagging a bit in the you know what I mean, at the end. But I don't think. Because the thing is, it's kind of wedged in there already because the power sockets on my card stick in at the end ways rather than sideways. So, and the thing is really too long anyway. So it only just fits up against the hard drive cages anyway. So it's kind of wedged in there. Yeah. But it works fine.
They need to do something about graphics cards because they've been getting away with it for a while. Just getting them bigger and bigger. But it's getting to the point where it's like, if you get any bigger, I'm not going to be able to build my machine anymore.
Not in this case,
They should give up the idea of having two graphics cards in separate slots and just make like a graphics cube, where it's just a solid thing that plugs into two slots.
But then cooling is an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I've got mine in arrangement that I could add a second card with the same kind of cooler because it would fit, and I was thinking of doing that at some point, but it's unnecessary now, currently. Yeah. I mean, so...
I'd still rather go down the plan of, like, wait a while and get a new card, because then presumably at that point there'll be the graphics technique benefits, not just the speed benefits.
Well, exactly.
So, up to DX11, and I might have avoided some of my Battlefield 3 woes.
The thing is, there haven't been any new technique stuff this year. Everything's just a power-up of previous stuff.
Well, the DX11 stuff was a while back now.
Exactly. There's been nothing kind of new, really, apart from more power. So, but in future...
when did the 500 series come out? Was that last year? Or was it...
the
sort of current gen cards.
Yeah, I think it was last year, because that's when I was looking. At the end of last year.
Because Nvidia did a push this year when Duke Nukem came out.
That's hilarious. Because you need a new graphics card to run fucking Duke Nukem. You do. I think a good time to buy a graphics card will probably be to get the equivalent tech of what's in the new console.
Probably, yeah. Although, as I say, the computers are now, moderate. What is considered moderate hardware is now starting to be strained.
Yeah.
No, because as I say, I can run Battlefield fine. And in actual fact, this is worth talking about, actually. I accidentally ran Battlefield 3 in 3D mode.
Oh, right.
And it worked okay. I was quite surprised. It didn't run too badly. There were some levels where it really struggled, and it's like, right, I'm going to have to turn this off. But I pretty much got 30 frames per second out of my GTX 275.
Very good.
On medium detail at 1440 by 900, I think I'm running it at.
That's your res.
Because I can't go higher than that to 1080 because it starts to struggle. But weirdly, pixels seem to make the biggest difference in Battlefield than anything else. But and that was okay. And the 3D, what I didn't expect, the game is 3D vision rated. So it's amazing.
Right.
There's not one glitch in the 3D.
Realise.
It's fantastic.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you want to spend long sessions playing multiplayer Battlefield in 3D?
I've done it before.
Okay.
When I first tried 3D, my first experiment was Team Fortress, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And I did that for like 3 or 4 hours straight with a 3D kit on.
Is that rated in a similar way?
No, it's not rated. It's rated excellent, not 3D Vision ready, because Valve don't pay attention to 3D.
Right, fair enough.
They never have done. Although Portal 2, as I said before, is amazing in 3D.
Yeah.
But I was just surprised. It's like it works really very well. The only sort of oddity, and this is the problem with most 3D games that at the moment, is that the HUD is a bit funny.
Yeah.
It's like most of the time it's fine, but they try, like, the capture symbols sort of try and sometimes adjust to be into the screen based on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Which isn't often not right.
What you want.
It's often just sort of deep in the screen for no reason at all. Sometimes cutting through buildings and stuff, so it doesn't get it right. And that's the other issue. The 3D positioning of information, the label is in 3D over the object that it's trying to position. So often, like, the little indicators to say there's a tank behind that building, the indicator is cutting into the building because that's where the indicator is in 3D space.
Yeah.
Which I'm in two minds about, because it's sort of like, in theory, if it was like a proper HUD in front of your face, maybe it would be rendering it in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'd be doing something clever to give it some sort of depth, but
they just do whatever it was that was easiest for the
So it's a bit strange,
operator.
and it takes a little bit of getting. It's not nearly as bad as the X-ray mode on Batman, where stuff just cuts through everything, and you're like, oh, my brain!
Well, they'll probably fix that.
Even though that's 3D Vision rated, there's nothing wrong with it. It works perfectly. It's just horrible. But,
cool.
Surprising. Recommend. If you've got a system that can do it, try it. Although it does make sort of being accurate with your gun a bit trickier.
Yeah, which is kind of a problem for a shooter.
I mean,
especially an online competitive shooter.
That's the one real problem with it. They really... we've been toying with this idea for a while, that maybe when you look down a scope, it should not be totally 3D anymore, because you only ever look down a scope with one eye.
That's true.
In real life, don't you? So perhaps when you look down a scope, the game should be aware of it and go, drop all depth.
That would be
render everything flat.
Yeah.
Because it does make scope shooting a bit trickier.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's off to one side very slightly. You can't really tell at range. Yeah. So it's a bit of a shame. No one's really approached it right yet, but I don't think it's difficult. Someone just needs to do it.
Cool.
But yeah.
So
surprise.
Anyway, DiRT3.
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright.
The 3 distraction.
DiRT3 is excellent.
Moving on.
I've been playing quite a lot. Basically, I've already played more DiRT3 than I played DiRT2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I really like it. Like, technically, DiRT2 was amazing looking, and this isn't hugely better, but it does look amazing. Like, and it runs perfectly on my new PC, like 60 frames and everything.
They've
in
got
HD.
A lot of DX11 tech in there as well.
Yeah, it looks incredible. And just the character of it just suits me. It feels like there's less filler. Everything feels...
Or is there less people talking at you?
Well, people still...
They're less incredibly slow menus, where it's like, wait for you to walk over here.
Yeah. So the menus are much faster. They still look cool, but they're abstract. Like
gone back to the DiRT1 feel.
Kind of. There isn't a massive pyramid. It's like individual little fold-out pyramids, which are really cool, like little triforces of races. But yeah, it's really quick to get around, and it still looks really cool. Like, they've got great graphic design going on, and the music in the menus and stuff is really nice. It's kind of cool when whatever car you have loaded, or in last, kind of goes across as the menu starts.
Oh, kind of like PGR4 does.
Yeah, you move between sections and the car goes, which is really cool. And kind of there's all these kind of abstract yellow pyramids everywhere, but the car just scatters and they kind of slow motion go flying everywhere.
I've seen that. That's
it looks
cool.
Pretty damn cool. But yeah, it does have people talking at you, which is still kind of annoying. But
hey man, that was a good race.
Although
it is somewhat cool for them to, if they've still got Spoon in the nickname.
They've still got the nickname stuff. I don't know if Spoon is in there.
It's Spoon.
Hey Dan,
good race.
It's basically
nailed.
Instead of having all the racers, it's now got like 3 people. It's got a very English woman, as in, I don't know what her accent is, but I think it's like Essex, like estuary English.
All right.
Yeah, or whatever. And then you've got
That was a wicked sick race now, isn't it?
you've got an American bloke and like a deadpan Australian bloke for some reason. And they're like random commentators. They're like constantly saying, you're invited to the X Games. You're doing really well this season.
There's such a thing as a deadpan Australian?
Kind of. He's a bit more... No, he's a bit more sarcastic than the other ones.
Put another shrimp on the barbie.
No, but yeah, but other than that, which is still there, I think they basically, ever since they made that tech, when we're for Toca Race Driver or wherever it was, they were like, we've got to keep using this, use your name tech or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But,
is it still... So what's the handling model like?
So, yeah.
Because that's the most important change, really, to the any of the rally games, is when they change their...
I really like it. It feels like a kind of refined Dirt 2.
So they're still on the pivot model?
No, I don't know. I can't tell anymore. When you watched a replay of the original Dirt, it looked stupid. Like, they were pivoting around the centre constantly.
It did get a lot better between 1 and 2, but I think 2 is still based on the pivot model, mainly because of the way the cars handle on tarmac doesn't feel right.
I think it probably still is, but it feels right for the arcadey style that they go. Not arcadey, but it's like semi between.
Yeah,
it's
not
always
total
been
realism.
It's between arcade and your Forza, isn't it?
Yeah, because they wanted to move away from the realism approach when they realised they couldn't do it quite so accurately as as the big guns. It's like they started moving away.
Yeah, compared to Richard Burns' Rally, it's not like driving a rally car, but it feels great. It feels good, and it's still got all the stuff that was in the previous games. I felt there was a lot of filler in Dirt 2. Like they were quite fun, but it was like, I shouldn't be enjoying this, because all you're doing is you're reusing this rally stage content and you're putting a load of like things to smash through, and it's like, this is actually fun, but
what you mean, like games that try and do like the mission mode in Sonic?
Yeah, and it's like, this is fine, but in Dirt 3 everything feels like a proper event. It's got the rallycross stuff, which is really good, because it's got like proper like racetracks. Like for some reason it's got like Monaco in there, so you can race around the city in rallycross, and it's got like the LA Coliseum and stuff. But then when you get to the actual rally, which there is plenty of, they're like really good tracks, like Finland stuff with
Finland,
and the forests of Finland look amazing. Like Finland. And you've got different lighting, so you've got different times of day, including night rally with the big lights on the front of your car.
Yeah, I don't think they did that in
No,
Dirt 2.
I don't think that was in Dirt 2. And in addition to all the lighting types, like different times of day, that there is, of course, the weather effects, which are fantastic. I mean, you've got rain, really heavy rain. It's got the standing water from Dirt 2, which I think is starting to look a bit old, actually.
Really?
Yeah, well, it looks a bit sort of grey, and when
the
you splash
DX11
into
is supposed to make all that much better, because they've used tessellation to make the ripples look super smooth. And
well, I think because you're the surface of your car, when you're on an outside shot, the water on your windscreen, if you're in, it looks amazing.
I know.
It looks
that
really
was always good in Dirt 2, even if it is completely blinding.
Yeah. But so that looks great, and like the actual water itself, on the surface of the track, not just the glistening of the track, rather than the standing water, and just the rain coming towards your face looks great. But then when you actually see a puddle of standing water, it looks kind of a little bit too shiny or white or something. I don't know. The bloom off it is sometimes a bit too much. Yeah, when there's a big puddle, it doesn't look like murky enough. Like
I see what you mean. It's too clean.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah,
considering
most water has that problem, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like they don't quite get the murk right.
So anyway, but that's great. And then it's not just rain. You got your snow, man. Snow coming right towards your face, and the snow affects.
That's needed for like Finland.
Yeah,
Sweden,
but there's proper snow rallying. It almost took me back, because there's some stages are like super special or whatever. Where you're on those tracks that go.
So they kind of dropped that in Dirt 2,
didn't
they?
Yeah, but that's all back, and that's cool. It kind of reminded me a little bit of some of the snow handling of those classic ice races in Rallycross Challenge.
Oh man, they were hilarious.
Which was so cool. And so you got buggies racing on snow, because you got the buggies. So that's kind of like the ice challenges. It's got that. So I was thinking they pared it down, but as I'm going through, it's like, rally raid, the raid stuff is still there. It's just under the rally class. So basically, so now sometimes you go rally and you just go straight into it. But sometimes now you go rally event and then you can choose a class of rally within that. And there's like 60s, 70s, 80s, S2000, 90s.
So is raid done like an actual race like it was in Dirt 2, or is it rally? If you see what I mean, because raid was done as a sort of all the trucks are on the course.
I think it's a race. I think it's a form of rally cross or something.
Yeah, because that was awesome. That was one of my favourite bits of Dirt 2 was the raid event.
So you've got the actual.
And they didn't have so much of a track either.
Yeah.
Sometimes it went quite off-roady.
Well, they had some special tracks,
like
didn't they?
sideways.
I can't remember where. I think it might have been Croatia, but there was almost a special raid track in Croatia that went kind of off-road a bit more, like through the bush. And
then you end up on it all the time. And
stuff. But then you always play the same level whenever it's raid in Croatia, which came up quite a lot.
Yeah. So this has feels like a little more variety in the tracks and stuff. Like the thing is, like, I'm a bit disappointed in a way that. I mean, this is just the trend for the Dirt games, and they look amazing, so you can't really blame them. But most events take 2 minutes, so you don't get the old rally stage 5-minute rally stages, which is a shame. Which was awesome back in the day, but it
did mean that they were crashing was it was even more of a pain in the ass.
Well, they've improved, I think, much improved since the replay, the flashback. Now all you do is you press back. You hold left trigger to rewind, and you press X, and you go. None of this. None of this. Like, have they fixed going into replay mode?
Yeah. And have they fixed my issue with it in that I had originally, where the sort of when you've had a big crash and you've wanted to sit through the awesomeness of the crash, that there's now enough time to actually go back and correct it, rather than it putting you back right before the crash.
Well. Yeah, I would say yes, but basically, I've never rewound far enough to see where the limit is, because I've always think, this is fine. Because there seems like there's loads of, even when I've left it a bit after the crash, I always seem to have enough time.
Because I can see what they were going for in limiting it. Perhaps if you used a flashback just on, I've got that corner a bit wrong, maybe I should do that again in a sort of Forza style.
Yeah.
But when it went dramatically wrong. But you're sitting there enjoying the spectacle of it going crazy wrong. And then you're punished for watching what is probably one of the most awesome bits of the games. The damage physics in Codemasters games have always been really cool.
So basically,
and then you go back and it's like, I've literally got a nanosecond before I hit that tree stump again.
It's basically fixed. Yeah, there you go.
That's cool. And they probably could have done it by just having when you crash, we'll just make the any time after the crash free rewind.
That would have been good. I'm not sure if that's how it's done here, but they've never had a problem with not being able to go far enough back.
It didn't take much thought, and they could have dramatically improved it. But
so they fixed that, so because I found in Dirt 2, whenever you finish something, it's like, hey, you've won this livery for this car, and you've won this thing that goes on your dashboard. You've got some liveries, man. Check these out. And then when you go to an event, it's like, I haven't got a car. I need to buy a car for this event. Now, which one do I choose? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, and it kind of the problem I have with these car selection things, and there's it's weird because they started introducing stats, didn't they, into the cars? So it's they're good at this, and then you just basically pick the ones that has the most stats,
power,
and then you never use any of the other cars.
Yeah. So this one, the way it works is you choose your event. If it's rally, or it either go straight into it, or you choose your class, like I said, S2080s, whichever ones are available for that particular race. And then you choose a team, and each team has a car. Some teams have the same car, but they have a different livery, obviously.
Or presumably a different setup, or slight tuning differences.
Well, no, you can change the tuning, and once you go in, you're in a service area section, before the race, and you can change the tuning. And it's my style of arcade tuning where
more or less.
There's 5 things, and you can go more or less.
So same as that 2 system.
Yeah, exactly. So it's shorter,
which was negligible at best for the effect of what it did.
But it'd be cool if you were spending time on one stage trying to get a better time. You could change your gear ratios or whatever.
Yeah. But it's pretty much always the rule. Knock it down one notch. You very rarely hit top speed.
Yeah, but there's none of this Forza craziness of. Yeah. So that's cool. But yeah,
I sort of miss it to a degree. But it's it's always been in two minds about the tuning system from rally games, because they sort of went a bit. The most extreme it's ever been, I think, was back in 2, perhaps, where you had quite a lot of options. You could choose your tyres, you could choose your Well, there just seem to be more options
Yeah.
and things. But then you sort of think about a few of them, and it's like, well, why would I ever choose my tyre type, I suppose? Because you always pick the one
Yeah, it'd
that's
always
most
be picked
suited to the
for you.
majority of the road.
Yeah.
But then you've got... I suppose that it made more sense when you were doing full rallies, and you had to
Yeah.
pick what setup you needed for the next upcoming few stages.
So obviously this doesn't have full...
Yeah.
It has rallies. Like some events, like as you go through the events, they get longer, and some of them have multi-stage. It's like you pick a triangle, and it's got 3 rally stages in it. And overall...
But you have tuning between each one?
Yeah, you could, I think. So
Yeah,
that
because
doesn't
the
mean
old
you-
games are trying to mimic the proper...
Yeah, it doesn't
style.
have that. You only have 20 minutes worth of repair.
Repairs,
Yeah, it doesn't have any of that.
And you did basically do the classic thing of never repairing your bodywork just to see how messed up it is by the
Yeah.
end of the rally.
Awesome stuff.
Even though after I'd actually discovered repairing it made a massive difference.
So you have this one driver reputation level, which allows you access to the later teams or whatever. So, and that gets
Oh, okay. So like the hardcore teams don't let you in until you've
got to the level,
I see.
and then that unlocks cars, but also liveries in the same. You see, because it's all united in that one level.
I get it.
And you get reputation points at the end of events and stuff, but you get like. That's the way they reward you for not using the replays. You get points for
reputation.
unused replays. Yeah.
Oh, is that the only system, or does it like presumably there's it like win based, or does wins only count? Is there a money?
Oh,
system?
the wins. So the wins points unlock the events, and then
okay.
these things unlock reputation. So it's like a
see.
separate level. So it's kind of cool.
So presumably, if you up your difficulty levels, you gain more rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also that each event also has a little challenge, like across the finish line at over 88 miles an hour or something, and that gives you an extra point, rep
that's
point
pretty
boost.
cool. That's a neat refinement, actually.
It's nice.
Because the money system never really made sense.
No, they
in a
chucked
game
out all
of
the
that
money,
type.
so there's no money shit. So that's all cool. And then, of course, Gymkhana. That is quite fun, but it's quite difficult because it's not like it's a new skill to learn. Whereas you can jump straight into the racing and be good at it. Whereas Gymkhana, it's like initially quite frustrating. Like in the first diamond thing, there's a whole training bit, and to be honest, because there's a bronze, silver, gold system on the training things, and to be honest, that was a pain just learning how to do it. But once you get
A bit like the
getting the
drift
golds,
events in Grid, because they were so different from the rest of the game that it's just like, oh fuck, do I really have to do these?
So this has also got drift events, actually. I've only actually done 1 or 2, but there's a couple of actual proper like drift style events, and they are very hard.
Yeah,
and
they're always tricky.
But you also get one of the Gymkhana tricks is just you drift between 2 posts, and the faster and more sideways you are, the more points you get for going through that. So there are drift challenges within Gymkhana that are just made up of those gate things. So you get Gymkhana events during the normal run of things, which get more fun the more you do it. Basically, once you've learned how to do all the tricks and they've got rid of the bronze, silver, gold thing, then it just becomes number of points against a competitor number of points, like a rally or something. Yeah. So it lets you free in an area with all the tricks, and you just have to freestyle it in some cases, and that's really actually quite fun. Once you get, because you can direct yourself or whatever.
I'm still skeptical.
It's fun.
Fairness,
it's cool. But the other thing you get is like the Battersea like DC compound, which is like an area you can go into and mess about doing Gymkhana tricks. But as you progress through the game, it unlocks a bigger parts of the area, so you get more spaces, and like it has missions that you can look up, like achievements basically that you look up in the menu. It's like
it's Tony Hawk's for Gymkhana.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is Tony Hawk style basically, which is kind of like Tony Hawk.
Not a bad system.
Yeah, and it's quite fun, and you end up with quite a big area, I think, once you unlock the inside of the power station and Battersea and stuff. That's pretty cool. What else should I say? But yeah, it looks pretty freaking awesome. And it's got...
I do want it. It's definitely on my list, but I still... It's one of those things, I sort of actually want to finish Dirt 2.
That's the thing. I'm so glad I didn't, and I just went straight to Dirt 3, because for a long time I was like, but there's so much Dirt 2 to play, and it's like, this is so much better. For me, I just...
Is it still GFAL?
Sorry?
Is it still GFAL?
Yes, it's games for Windows.
Games for Windows.
Yeah, so I've got Xboxy style achievements, and it's just so much more sort of Moorish, and because everything's bite sized, and everything thinks because DiRT3y I always came to a natural stopping point of I don't want to do that one next or whatever.
Yeah, there are certain countries or something that you really just go, well, I've done that so many times.
I don't want to do that again.
And so, what's the repetition like? Because that's been all of their previous games' biggest problem is the repetition.
Well, basically, I think there are more tracks and stages. They're prettier
The
and
rally
everything,
helps that, I
but
guess.
also that they mix it mixes it up completely, having a different kind of time of day and weather condition. Well, not completely, but it makes a
does
big
make a
difference
dramatic
to
difference.
variety.
Yeah.
It's like suddenly it's wet; it feels quite different, even if you know all the corners.
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
even the early rally games in Codemasters history had changing weather, and that did mean you had to tackle certain courses slightly differently.
Yeah, so this makes quite a big difference to course handling and stuff. So I'm finding the variety really good actually, and whenever I come back to an area, it's like, oh great, I get to go to Kenya again, or oh great, Finland or whatever, because I like those areas. They look cool.
Yeah, and at least it makes a difference. So it's like there's certain like Need for Speed, what's it called? Whatever the last one was, Hot Pursuit.
Yeah,
not the Run.
Yeah,
but
none of that.
Yeah, because that had weather in it, but it literally only served to make the game look cool in different ways.
Ooh,
it didn't actually change the game.
Yeah, so it feels cool, and I mean, it could be better. There could be more and there could be longer stages. If that would fit into RAM, which I'm sure it probably would.
On a PC, anyway.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine on mine. I put 8 gigs in there. It's doesn't even use 2. I don't think.
Yeah. But the engine might struggle on consoles, I guess, which is obviously the big market now.
Yeah,
for streaming, I guess. Maybe Ego isn't designed for streaming content.
Maybe it runs absolutely great on my PC, and I think it's really good. Oh, that's the other thing. It's got what's called Trailblazer, which is was that in 2?
That was in 2.
It's the hill climb cars on rally stages, basically, without pace notes, obviously. Yeah. And that's just the best. It's just fucking insanely fast.
But I like pace notes.
Yeah, no, they're cool. The rallies are cool, but like the Trailblazers is just the acceleration is just so ridiculous. You have to brake way before.
So do they actually have like hill climbs?
That's the thing. I don't think it really does. Not like the first game actually had Pikes Peak. Yeah, and that was cool. I don't think this has any of that. So that was
always the best stuff back from the Rally Sport series. Actually, I used to like the hill climb stages because they were the most unique stages in the game. Because the sort of rally stages often form back in Rally Sport days. They often formed the sort of ribbon idea almost that like games like Forza use or something, where you're in the same area, sort of retreading old ground on occasion.
I think there's a bit of that going on in this. But those whole hill, they were really cool, and I miss those. That would be the one thing I would put all of Pikes Peak back in there, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's cool because with the classes you go modern, and you can go in that ridiculous Tahoma thing, or you go 80s. It's like Audi Quattro, yes, and like in the rally, like I was saying, you choose 60s Mini Cooper,
fantastic,
and you choose 90s Impreza.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I did actually have to download.
What about a 90s Ford Focus?
Yeah, I'm not sure about... Was Ford Focus rallying in the 90s?
Well, if it was in Colin McRae 2, then it would have been.
Yeah, you're right.
That would have been the old style Focus.
I think you can probably get what you're looking for.
Excellent, because I was one of my favourite rally cars. I used to just like the style of it. It's not quite as classic as the Impreza, but I used to like them.
It was cool. And of course the Lancer.
Wait, as long as it's got the different versions.
Yeah, you got the modern one and the old
Evo 6.
Like the 910 and 11.
Yeah, it's got various types.
You want the Evo 6. Just because I've driven that one,
Yeah. One thing that is annoying is that, like, the DLC, the paid DLC that you pay for with Microsoft points.
with fun coins.
Yeah. So obviously not discounted by Steam sales or anything.
Yeah.
That appears prominently within the game's menus, grayed out. And you can't gold star a triangle because you have to buy the last event, and so it says you haven't got
weird.
enough. So and then when you go into the the team selection, various ones are grayed out because the car is DLC. Yeah, and some of the coolest cars are DLC, which is annoying, like the Lancia Stratos or something is DLC, and it's like, for fuck's sake!
That's quite mean.
I know.
Is that all?
It's quite mean.
Is that things that have been added over time then?
I don't.
Or were they all like that from launch? Because that would have been fucking annoying if that was on launch.
Well, obviously I can't tell, but it is annoying. I mean, I was tempted to get like the track packs, like the new tracks, but it's like, considering I only spent £15 on the game, it's like, because it's clever of them, because it means that like if they get a resale or whatever, or a second-hand sale, then that person will have to buy that stuff again. So I can see where they're coming from, but for the OCD part of me really hates that I can't make everything go gold because I haven't bought it.
I think I can't work out. It's like there's a certain element of I can see why they did it from a business point of view. It's clever, and also actually in a weird way from a usability point of view, it's kind of nice because you can immediately see what's available for DLC. But it's the tauntingness and the cheekiness of it that's sort of saying, you could have this. It's like, I don't care. I'd been better off knowing that it wasn't there. You know, I'd been sort of like, I'd feel better about it if it almost, I think, if they hadn't told me, it's like, you don't have this. Ha ha ha.
And it's especially annoying with the cars because they look cool. Like, obviously, Lancia Stratos looks cool. But, I mean, the handling model is really fun, but there isn't much difference between cars, really.
No, okay.
So,
even if you switch Massive Era or something?
Oh, no, they'd feel different, but, like, within the era, like, probably a Lancia doesn't feel that different to a
So do you actually get outright stats this time, or is it just you have to figure out the feel of a car for yourself? Because I prefer that.
Well, it's got like stats like horsepower.
Oh yeah, that's the proper stats as opposed to like.
It doesn't have like handling points scale. No, it doesn't.
Oh,
have
that's
any
better.
Other.
That's better.
Yeah,
because that was the kind of the awesome things about the early rally games. It's like, do you want to drive this car?
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, I do. Well, it's up to you to figure out what it's good for.
But it's so great that it has the old, because it's like Lancia Delta Integrale. Fuck yes, I'm totally driving that one. It's like you know them from old games.
Is that actually is the Delta? Oh, the Delta's not DLC.
No, that one's
good.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able to get away with not having that.
Exactly. You got that. You got the like I say, Mini Cooper, all the greats. It's pretty sweet.
Even the old. Has it got the old the ancient Celica?
I think it does, yeah.
Excellent. So you can have a Sega Rally fight.
Yeah, I think you can.
Fantastic.
I haven't got far enough, but apparently Group B is in there as well. So
cool.
That's where most of those cars came from.
Well, yeah.
Quattro.
Yeah, but that's Hill Climb, the one that I've been driving. But maybe there's a Group B version.
The Group B, the exciting Group B ones are the tiny little sort of like metros that are for some reason got ridiculous engines.
Well, yeah, they've one of those.
The Ford one in Colin McRae 4. That was like a long
Cosworth or something.
Oh, what, the Escort?
No, I can't remember.
That's DLC. The Ford Escort.
It was like a Quattro. It was like a long base and then flat, but it was a Ford.
That might be the Sierra.
That was the one that I always played. That was that was the Group B car in Colin McRae 4 that for some reason always lost all of its bodywork really easily.
Awesome.
It's like everything just fell off it.
I'll have to check out if that's still in there. Yeah. Apparently it's got the new. I'm not sure actually, but I thought I heard that it's got the new mini.
The new mini rally car.
New mini rally car. So I haven't got that far yet. But
you mean like I forget? Is it a version of the Countryman or an actual mini?
It's a version of the
Countryman.
The Countryman, yeah,
the big one.
Yeah, but it's
not mini.
It's like 90% different parts, obviously. But yeah. So yeah, pretty cool game.
I am tempted. But I think, of course, the other sort of downside for me, I suppose, is that I got the entire Codemasters pack last time for £7, which had like grid, DiRT3y, and fuel in it, and it's like £15. Given what I paid for it last time.
Yeah, but I'm saying, best Colin McRae game for a while, I would say, on my.
Have they dropped the Colin McRae moniker though now?
Yeah, that's gone. The only thing I found it in is like the free car pack, that the free DLC is like Colin McRae Memorial Car Pack.
Okay,
and there's there is like Colin McRae Vision, I think, as a charity. That's one of the teams.
Oh, okay.
So like there's stuff like that, but it doesn't say like DiRT3y literally said Colin McRae Rally. DiRT3y
and it had the odd car that Colin used to drive, like his.
Well, you got that
his Citroen and things like that.
Well, you got his Super Impreza or whatever in that car pack, for example.
Yeah, but it was actually all in the game in DiRT3y.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much gone now, which is fair enough. That was totally. Do you hear the report back on his helicopter crash?
No, I didn't.
It's completely his fault.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he was being an idiot. and he killed all those people, basically. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, slightly less endearing.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
Sorry, Colin.
Sorry, Colin. So yeah, that's what I've been playing, and did I mention it on? Oh, I think I'll be in the car when we talk about this. But yeah, Batman, I'm going to play, but I'm holding off because there's apparently issues with DiRT3y 11 currently.
Yeah. Okay.
But once they patch that, I'll be right onto
that. Wait for the first patch and then read the patch notes and then determine whether they fix it.
Exactly. So that's my plan for next week. Batman.
Going back to Battlefield.
Yeah.
I suppose we should
I'm done now. So.
In the vein of patch notes, an actual patch dropped.
Not a very interesting one.
Well, it fixed a lot of issues for me.
Yeah.
The game, it still crashes a lot, which is still a problem. But some of the... I haven't had a screen flash since the patch.
I wouldn't have noticed if I had, because I just sort of zoned it out now.
Yeah, no, I haven't had a screen flash since the patch. And also a few of the little... I had a weird sort of polygon issue that I think Zach's seen, where the sort of spiky bits came out sort of from in front of you and sort of... in the world, sort of like errant polygons basically just came out from some point in front of you and was mysteriously affected by the world's lighting and stuff. And they've all gone, which is nice. Oh, no, that might have been in the latest NVIDIA beta drivers.
Yeah,
actually.
that might have been the drivers.
Yeah, not the actual Battlefield patch. But, yeah, other than that, I've not really noticed much.
There was just like some balancing stuff, but it didn't seem like it was the balancing stuff that needed fixing. The scar got nerfed a bit, which made sense because everyone was using the scar.
That might be why I'm sucking with it slightly more.
Well, don't know if you've noticed it that much, but because everyone in the goddamn universe was using that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mainly it's just because it's the first engineer unlock.
Yeah.
Gun.
Partly, yeah. I suppose it has got the gun loyalty thing, hasn't it? So
yeah.
You sort of...
So that Deus Ex that you've written on your tag list.
Oh, fucking autocorrect.
Oh, is that autocorrect?
Yeah, I think I typed Deus and it's come up with Deus.
Deus.
Deus
anyway,
Ex.
Sorry.
Fuck.
But the main problem with Battlefield has been just like... I don't know, it just doesn't seem like enough people are playing it because you join a server and then after one round everyone leaves.
That is really irritating. Like, the sort of sudden server emptying.
It happens like every time. One night I was just joining a server which was at like 28 out of 32, playing one round, and then everyone left, and that happened like 6 times in a row on different servers. It's like, fuck's sake, is no one... you just stay. But then that is sort of partially because of the stupid fact that auto balance just still doesn't exist. It's like, they need to implement some kind of fucking auto-balance.
Well, one does exist.
No, that's not what... I've decided that is not auto-balance, that's auto-leveling. That's just making sure the teams have the same number of people. That doesn't balance anything.
It's quite important in Battlefield, though.
Well, yeah, but it's normally... It very rarely gets more than, like, one person out, even if there's no auto-balance on the server.
Sort of, unless a
lot of people leave at once, like they do sometimes.
Yeah, like one team rage crits.
Yeah, but that's not auto-balancing at all. That's not actually helping the balance of the game. There needs to be some way to, like, sort it so that you don't get one team that's destroying the other team every single round.
Plus, they totally need to fix that chat window.
Well, yeah, the chat window is still fucked. They did patch that.
Well, it's weird, because I've tried typing messages in there before to sort of, like, someone was going, like, please stop shooting out of the base or something. It's like, if you're raping us in the base, we have no choice but to shoot out of it to escape.
Well, there was the classic one where someone said, oh, stop camping the point when we were defending one of the Russian goals. Yeah. Like, that's what you have to do!
It's name type, you tard. Yeah, but the weird thing is you can't type very long sentences before it like truncates what you've typed, and then the box for an individual chat message is like 2 or 3 lines high. So it like it doesn't let you type big messages, and then has blank space where your message could have gone.
Oh, that's dumb.
It's stupid.
And the
position is the worst bit though, because it's like right in the middle of the screen,
and it covers up a huge chunk of important area.
A third of the right-hand edge of the screen.
And if you're playing on one of the servers that has one of the auto-balance mods on, that sends a message every time it's auto-balancing someone. So that text window is up most of the time.
Yeah, just replace it with like a standard like text feed.
Put it back to how it was in Battlefield 2, where it was just text and it didn't have a background, and it was just on the left-hand screen, and it was colour-coded to the...
Put it in the Battlefield, in the Team Fortress location.
Well, yeah.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I guess. I preferred Battlefield 2's, though. I liked it. I liked it in the mid-screen. Sort of mid-left. wasn't that high up. It was sort
Yeah, I don't know. I prefer it sort of out
Like
of
where
the
your
way.
objectives are in X-Wing.
Yeah.
And they need to make the colour coding on it actually better. Because it's like, you've got, talk to everyone, light blue. Talk to team, slightly darker blue.
Yeah, that's annoying. It should just highlight the whole text with who it's to.
Well, it should do it like it used to, where it was like, everyone was white, team was blue, and then squad was green.
Yeah.
And then it's like the trouble with, it's like, apparently
Great.
DICE would say,
Probably isn't anymore.
it's like, apparently DICE would say about auto-balancing, it's like, oh, we can't possibly put auto-balancing in because then that would fuck up everyone's squads and everything. It's like, so just make it auto-balance by squad. Make it take the top squad on this team, the top squad on this team, and then swap them at the end of the round. That's all you need to do. That would solve so much of the problems with team balance.
That would work perfectly.
I suppose you'd have to... Or could you...
It might be
it's the
hilariously
trouble, 'cause
swapping
you-
every time.
You, don't,
yeah.
you almost want squads to stay together, so could you swap entire squads between...
That's what I
he's
just
saying,
said.
Oh,
Wake up, fool!
I thought you just said top player.
No,
It's a top squad.
The entire
It
squad.
would have to do it at the end of round.
You'd have to
Because it
make...
couldn't do it in the middle of that. It couldn't just kill everyone else in the squad and then swap.
They'd have to be the same size as squad.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem since there's only 4-man squads and they're almost always 4-man squads because everyone wants more than 4-man squads.
Cool, okay. That's fine then.
But it's like, god damn it, that's all you have to do. It's because it's like there's no like Modern Warfare style rank balancing. It doesn't look at the ranks on the server and try and do anything with those. When that's a really obvious, and because it has
Well,
the equivalent of like Prestige where you can rank up the top ranks multiple times.
I was about to say, couldn't it just use some sort of how that guy has performed since they joined the server metric, even because not rank doesn't necessarily mean skill.
Well, there is a skill rating as well, which
Yeah,
is
I
sort of
noticed
hidden.
that. Yeah, I've got -2.
I've been consistently the top skill on all the people on my friends list somehow. I think that's my sniping.
I don't even know what it means.
It's to
really,
do. It is a sort of like. What game had it before? Oh no, it's Halo style, where it's like if you kill someone who's higher than you, you get more points towards it or whatever.
So
Apparently.
with sniping, you're killing.
Yeah, I'm killing everyone and I'm never dying, so I'm just getting all their points.
I guess I must just get murdered a lot by noobs.
Yeah, probably. Or not really noobs, it's just like you're distinctly average. You're sitting there at 0.
Well, actually, I was quite surprised, because I thought my kill-death ratio on this was going to be atrocious, and they're similar to the way it sort of normally is when I play COD and stuff. But, and in this I care a lot. I know, I care a lot less about kill-death, because it's not as important to the
Team
flow of the
game,
game.
yeah.
As it
Which I
is
prefer anyway.
Although I was quite surprised, when mine is sort of fairly happily hovering around 1, which is for my style of play, that's quite good.
Yeah, getting in there and taking objectives and shit.
Yeah.
Not just sitting out there sniping everyone.
That's why I have a free kill because I'm miles away.
Yeah.
Although I can't help but think that the sniper scoring for insane distance sniping like yours is a little bit unbalanced. Where it's like, how many people have you killed? 2? On top of the team.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a point per meter or something.
Oh, really?
For the distance
Oh, that's
you headshot
ridiculous.
someone.
Yes. That's why you snipe off the aircraft carrier. Because that means that everything is more than 350 metres away.
That's actually kind of realistic, isn't it? They shot that guy, didn't they, on the
Oh, yeah.
pirates
off
of moving
of an aircraft carrier.
off a ship. Well, it wasn't. It was a destroyer or something. But yeah, that was pretty sweet.
That's a hell of a shot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were.
It's
those old bunkers.
more so than in Battlefield, where it's a perfectly stable platform that never moves.
Yeah.
Oh, what,
It's
so
just,
basically
rolling.
just got a line of snipers along the deck and just sort of gone, right, everyone aim.
Everyone fire.
One of the bullets will get him.
Yeah, I think they had multiple targets rather than.
That would be freaking amazing, though.
Yeah.
It would be like a shotgun from up a kilometre away.
And then, in a random server I was playing on the other day, one of the admins killed me for sniping off the aircraft carrier. It's like, well, fuck this server then.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate tactic. What's wrong with that?
That's true.
It's like, oh, you're camping in the base where we can't get to kill you. Well, counter snipe me. It's not like it's difficult to see me. I'm lying down on the fucking flat deck of an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, you can see people on the aircraft character and you can snipe into it. Character, shit.
The aircraft character. That's me.
It took me a while to notice I'd said that.
Yeah,
But it was like, it's not. I could be sniping on Caspian. I could snipe out of the base practically there. You just go up onto the rocks or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
at the
we've
end
done
of the
that
base.
before, haven't we?
Yeah, and you can snipe from there. You can snipe several places on that map, and that's that's no more illegitimate than sniping off the aircraft carrier. It's not any further, really.
I have to say, the weird thing is, like, regarding Caspian Border, since the actual game has come out, I quite liked that map in the beta. I thought it was fine. Fucking hate it now.
It's because you haven't had any other maps to compare it to.
None of my games go well on that level. None of them, except when I'm flying jets, which I've actually got quite good at.
Yeah, now that you've unlocked the flares.
Yeah, and as soon as you unlock the flares, it gets so much better. But I've got like heat-seeking missiles and the stealth upgrade now, and it's actually a lot of fun.
Does the stealth upgrade do?
It means make sure things take longer to lock you.
Ah, that makes sense.
And if you get spotted, it disappears quicker.
Yeah, cool. It only lasts a few seconds, the spot, when you've got the stealth on. But it's a lot more fun, even though I don't really feel like I'm contributing to the battle, and the amount of points you get for flying around in a jet is really low.
Somebody on the Bombcast compared it to the snipers on 2-4.
They're
fighting each other and not fighting the... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally you can do a run on the chopper, but even the choppers seem to take quite a lot of damage. So you'll come down, you'll do a swooping machine gun run on them because it's more effective than trying to lock them.
Yeah.
Because locking is tricky against something unless you're behind it.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you do a swooping gun run, and you'll die like seconds later, and then it turns out, hang on, they're still pretty much on full health. I've like done nothing to them. Because some of those choppers can lock you and you'll get killed by them. And and then you'll just see their health target, and it's like, how come? So my machine gun run did 10% to a chopper. It's don't jets have that concept of a death dot, where anything in its machine gun range is dead?
I was reading on Wikipedia. Apparently, one time in the 80s, they did, the American military did a kind of, they're always doing like theoretical exercises or in the desert or whatever, trying things out. And they did this exercise of simulating jet fighters attacking helicopters. And they expected, obviously, the jet fighters to just decimate these like small targets or whatever. Yeah, but turned out helicopters are really, really dangerous to jets. Like, don't go near them because they'll shoot you down. That's what came out of it. Apparently, it's like really dangerous.
Really?
Well, because they do have that.
That's how they work in Battlefield. They just stop and they can lock you and rotate and fire air to air.
They have air-to-air missiles, but you'd think that they wouldn't stand a chance. But apparently, no, they're dangerous. Stay away from them. It's the lesson that they learned.
I didn't notice this before, but apparently the scout choppers unlock air-to-air missiles as well.
Do they?
Which is a bit ridiculous.
I suppose the irritating thing is, though, is that in terms of, true, maybe it has real-life significance. I can sort of see that. And partly because the jets are travelling so fucking fast that getting any kind of sort of shot on a stationary flying object must be pretty difficult. But in the case of game balance, I can't help but think that that's something really important that jets should be able to do, is be pretty
at least be able to take down the
Maybe they just need to like boost. Well, no, I was about to say maybe they should increase how quickly your flares recharge, but that's probably a bit ridiculous because it's already a bit overpowered for any other kind of missile most of the time.
The flare recharge rate is quite right, really, because if I'm chasing a jet, I can pace my heat seekers. So I fire one, which I know they'll flare.
Yeah.
And then if you fire your second one, as soon as you
pass the flare, basically.
You don't have to relock.
Well, sometimes you can from the ground.
Sometimes you keep your lock if you're on them enough. If you're keep them in the center of your screen enough, you don't lose lock. So you just fire your second heat seeker, and then they're in trouble.
Well, the way I do it from the ground is just try and goad people into locking. Just lock them until you have tone, but then don't fire, and then see if they flare.
Oh yeah, but there's an extra note that plays when you're flying when something's actually shot in your direction. You have to wait for the lock, and then wait for the tiny little quiet.
But sometimes if people just automatically flare too soon,
and even then you want to wait till quite a reasonable amount of seconds after the ding starts, so you can actually flare off, and then you're. Just in case they fire their second.
Yeah, cool. Sounds like you're getting pretty good
at
that.
No, it's good fun when it works. But this is, I have a lot of, occasionally, jets go so very wrong. Like, there are certain levels where the height cap is far too low.
Yeah.
And that the action of hitting the height cap is to make all your controls unresponsive. So you just sort of float there, and sometimes they don't come back on. It's like it forces a stall, but you can't really tell when you're stalled. There's no like indicator or something. So sometimes you'll accidentally hit the skybox and fall from the sky.
Yeah,
and it's
sucks,
like, and then it's like, what did I do? And sometimes that will happen when you're outside of the buffer zones or something. So you'll just
die.
You'll fall to the ground quite happily, and it's like, well, I'm miles away. I could legitimately run back to the battlefield from here. But of course you can't because it will kill you in 10 seconds. And it's like, and that sucks. There are certain levels where that's really harsh. I think, Firestorm is pretty harsh for that. And which is a shame. There's no need for it to be that low.
Okay.
It's they're hard enough. Jets are hard enough to do any kind of ground damage on anyway, so I don't see why the height is important. So it's just a bit weird. They should really fix that. Or at very least make hitting the sky cap not quite so damaging to your survivability. Because you can't really tell when it's going to happen, and it just suddenly kicks in. You're like, oh, I can't correct this. I can't actually get back to the battlefield.
Yeah. I only realised, or at least I think I realised this morning, because I'm not sure if this is exactly how it works. Isn't like having a soft lam against aircraft super powerful? Because if you laser target them so that the javelin can shoot at them, they can't evade it because it's not an IR.
Do soft lambs target
they do.
Aircraft? You do. I do get locked.
You can laser paint aircraft. So they can't escape a javelin if you get it locked on.
Probably, but the soft lam isn't crazy range. It's only like half the map.
That's still quite long range.
Well, no, but it's like half the land map.
Yeah.
Whereas planes have that enormous buffer zone outside the level. So provided you fly past them quick enough, you'll go out of range.
But the lock persists quite a long time after you've painted them with the laser. It stays there for a little while.
I thought you had to stay under a soft lam in order to keep locked.
No, I don't think you do. But it seems like... And obviously you only have to... Because it speeds up how fast the javelin locks as well if they're laser painted. Mm. So if you get them, I think you can probably do a lot of damage. But of course, no one uses the soft lam because no one fucking uses the javelins. It's kind of the almost pointless two unlocks.
I'd like to try.
Yeah, I'd like to try.
Do you need a team of two where one is a painter and one is a...
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you need recon guys on your team to set up soft lambs.
That's
so
sweet.
You can...
What's that stand for?
And then you kind of need an engineer. You need it's like, really, you need three things. Because you need the recon guy to drop the soft lamb, you need the engineer to fire the javelins, and then you need a support guy to give you ammo.
Although you do get quite a lot more ammo if you're carrying the explosives kit.
Well, to resupply the soft lamb as well, of course, because that gets destroyed.
Sounds like a fun squad, though.
Yeah, it does sound quite cool.
I've seen people trying to do it on top of the towers on various maps.
We need to just try this. I mean, I know your internet connection's a bit shitty, but we do need to try and just see how well it actually performs in some more games, because it's...
Yeah, I don't know. I might be able to move soon. So
on another note, I might be switching my provider.
Cool.
Really?
Because, PlusNet has been a bit weird of late. It's like, I think they're getting popular, or at least around here, perhaps they're getting popular, or maybe it's contention or whatever, but I've noticed that my internet speeds have been dropping significantly. And I like PlusNet, don't get me wrong, they've been good to me, but even their estimated line speed is now falling below 3 meg.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm signed up for. When I joined, it was 8 meg, and I got all of the 8 meg.
Yeah.
And it's like, not good. And Sky, estimated line speeds are not great, but it's somewhere in the region of the wildly variable 5 to 11.
Yeah.
Which is still a straight upgrade as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, sounds good.
Plus, I'll get it for cheap if I actually buy Sky, which I probably will do.
Oh, you're thinking against Sky, so we can actually watch live.
We'll have TV. Yeah, holy shit, we'll actually have.
So we can annoy Naomi by watching the X
Factor. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, I might do that fairly soon. So yeah, it'll be an experiment in Skyland.
Sweet.
I think, for a year-long experiment. Well, I'm getting really annoyed because I looked this up and we've got an official date for when Ipswich is to get proper fibre.
Oh, yeah.
And it's December next year.
Oh, right.
So we've got a whole fucking year to wait for fibre broadband.
Virgin?
Yeah, full-on up to 100 meg type stuff.
Cool.
Because apparently ADSL2 around here supports up to 20, which I know some people have.
What, in BT Infinity or whatever?
I don't know if they even count as Infinity. I think that's just ADSL2, like normal broadband.
Yeah.
But it's so Ipswich isn't getting 100 meg until end of next year, which means that basically I'm boned if I want like better stuff. I'd pay for that shit like straight away if it got here. It's like, that's amazing.
Yeah, so would I, instantly. 50 quid a month or whatever the fuck it is.
I almost don't care.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it. I'm not gonna, like, yeah. If I had that, I would not pay the Sky subscription and I would just download the fuck out of everything. Yeah. There, that's me.
It's like sign up to like Love Film or something and just use its streaming services.
Netflix
endlessly.
is launching in Britain, I heard.
Yeah, it's about damn time.
So that'll be pretty sweet. For that sort of thing. Anyway, we've only got like 50 minutes. Did you want to talk about Minecraft or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I was trying to remember if there was anything else that I needed.
Yeah.
There's another. Speaking of yet more stupid patches that are probably coming out next week, there's finally going to be another patch for Terraria.
Terraria.
I know. I saw our account on Terraria is massive as well. It's like 200 hours or something.
I can't actually remember.
I was thinking of having an award this year for the Game of the Year based on what game we've actually literally spent the most time on. Because that's almost an accolade in itself, really, isn't it?
It'll be whatever Zach's played.
It would probably be individual awards as opposed to like.
It would probably still be TF2 even for this year.
Yeah, no, I'd rule out TF2 for my nominations because that's a given.
But anyway. We don't need to talk about that now.
Yeah, okay.
I know, I was just thinking about it. Because your Terraria is probably going to win.
Maybe. I don't know. But there's another new patch, which is... I think the main thing that they're... I mean, there's lots of other stuff that they're putting in it, like weird new equipment, like mithril drill bits that you can mine and stuff.
That's great.
But I think the main thing they're promoting about it is they're like doing a completely revamped lighting engine. Where you can combine regular torches with coloured items to make disco torches, so you can just have all your tunnels illuminated in different colours for no reason in this new smoothed lighting scheme.
Oh, what? So they're changing it from the block-based
Yeah, from the block-based lighting to...
Oh, but that was kind of...
I know, I think I prefer the block-based lighting. It's like... It was...
Let's hope they make that an option.
Well, that's basically what Minecraft did, because they made their smoothed lighting system as well, and you can toggle it back to the old block version. I think I prefer the block version for Terraria as well.
Other patch notes, like one of the points is like added disco torches. It's like sweet.
And there's more bosses and shit as well, apparently.
Oh, that's good.
More actual things, weapons, bosses, that kind of stuff. So I guess I'll probably have to create a goddamn new character and start over again.
That game has received a lot more support than I thought it would.
Well, they did sort of say, like I've said it, like I said
yeah.
before, it was sort of leaked. They weren't done. And
so they just launched it anyway because it was leaked.
Yeah, because they wanted to make money rather than have everyone pirate it.
Yeah.
I'm pleased about the success of that because it's written in C#, isn't it? It's .NET.
It's entirely
like,
.NET.
Yes.
And XNA and all that stuff.
Sweet.
Magicka is XNA based.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's impressive.
We could do something. I know we don't. I know we don't.
We always say that.
But
give us a few months of
could.
like actual non-working free time, then yeah, maybe we could knock something up.
Yeah, or just more people. We just get a GitHub, whatever.
Yeah.
Like some cruffy thing. I don't
But for
know.
now,
Super
Minecraft
Meat Boy
came
2.
out.
Yeah.
Officially.
Minecraft
with its
is out.
ridiculous con.
Woo!
And
10 out of 10. Game of the year. Game of the year.
The 10 out of 10 review was completely
Fuck
retarded.
that.
But it was like... As soon as it was fairly obvious to everyone who ever played it, or was currently playing it for certain, that this makes almost no difference.
No,
It's like virtually no actual improvements to this between the 1.8 beta and this one.
Presumably it means you can't play it for free anymore.
You never could.
We've discussed this before. You can't
you still
play
have
it
to
for free.
buy
You can
it.
play an extremely old version for free on the webpage.
You had to buy the beta. It's just more expensive now, presumably.
Yeah, now it's
Really?
not beta price.
It's not as
Not
expensive
full
as a
game
full
price,
game,
yeah.
though, yeah.
How far away from the XBLA release are
That's a
we?
good question.
It's like it's been pushed so much because it was meant to come out at the same time, basically.
There was an amazing promotional YouTube video of like the team
Oh,
playing
yeah.
and like
I
on the
saw
couch
that.
getting really excited and
It's like, oh, tweet, tweet, oh.
and I'm just like, I made that. That's awesome.
But it's this. They've added new stuff. They had to. But you had the villagers and they were empty, and you had the strongholds and they were pointless. And
Yeah.
now that's all sort of actually become important. Well, the villagers are still in tiny points. It's like, oh look, NPCs that do absolutely nothing except stand there.
Okay.
Woo!
So,
I wonder what would happen if you stabbed them. Probably nothing. They probably just act like any kind of animal.
Do you get meat?
Yeah, exactly.
Man meat. You go cannibal.
Murder them for money or something. Or experience points, I guess. Now that there's a reason to have experience points.
What's the reason?
Every time you level up in it, when you have a full bar's worth of experience, like a level or whatever, you use those to do the enchantments. Like enchantments cost a certain amount of levels to put onto your weapons or armor.
Oh, okay.
But they're still like on your stuff, so you can still immediately lose them.
Yeah.
So don't fall in holes.
And also the enchantments are in like gibberish, well, not gibberish text as such.
Swedish chef.
Well, it's a known alphabet, so that it does directly translate to actual words, but the words are just basically selected from a random pool of words and don't necessarily have any bearing on what the actual enchantment is.
Wait, so they almost have. So they translate the characters translate to words, but then the words translate to other words.
Well, no, the words are just like from a selection of words. A dictionary of words, and then those words don't actually mean anything.
Oh right, so if you see the word on
the
same word on two different enchantments, they
doesn't
could
actually mean that it's the same enchantment or even close.
So what's the point?
I know, it looks fancy.
Okay.
It's not as good as the like generated random crap from Dwarf Fortress.
No, exactly. If it was actually, if all the stuff in Dwarf Fortress has meaning, sort of. It like this word means rocks. This guy is involved with rocks or whatever.
Defensive stuff of defense.
Yeah. Well, that's classic.
Smiting of smite.
But so you've got this new stuff where there's basically now an end of Minecraft, sort of. Where the idea is you do your normal mining, you get down to the bottom of the world, you get the diamonds and the obsidian, you make the hell portal, you go into hell, which also actually has buildings in it now, which is one of the other things, and a couple of new enemy types.
Hell buildings.
Yeah, a couple of new enemy types as well.
Demon forts.
So you go into hell, you get various resources from hell that lets you do brewing of potions, but that's almost pointless, as I discussed before. And extremely difficult. It's like you have to go all the way down there to be able to brew potions, and the potions are almost totally useless. You might as well not even bother. Enchantments are slightly more useful, but you still need obsidian and diamonds to make the enchanting table. And levels, obviously. So you go to hell, you get the shit you need from hell, various potion resources or whatever, or just resources, not necessarily potion ones. You kill some endermen and get some get their drops. You combine that together, you make basically it's sort of like, it acts as a compass, basically. Leads you to a stronghold. You go into the stronghold, you rebuild the ender portal.
The ender portal.
Or air portal, I can't remember what they're actually calling it now. You rebuild this portal using a rather large amount of enderman drops and hell resources. And then you go through that and you go into the end, which is where the endermen come from, obviously. Obviously.
Clearly.
And that's just like a big sort of open area where you have to fight a dragon, and then you win. And that's it.
Skyrim style.
Yeah. Well, it was just like, that's almost pointless, again, obviously. It was only jammed in there to make it seem like
and then what?
Ending.
You win credits.
Well, no,
yeah,
but
basically.
But that's kind of good, because some people need goals.
But the trouble is that there's not it's like, they changed the achievements, because the achievements were sort of not really achievements so much as like pointers.
Tutorial, yeah.
But the trouble is they've only added like a little more chain that points you of how to get to the end, where it's like, go to hell, get the hell stuff, find the stronghold, make the ender portal, go to the end, kill the dragon. And that's just like one chain, but they haven't really extended it anywhere else. And that is not enough guidance for Minecraft at all. There's no tutorial or anything. Anyone who hasn't played this
still need the wiki.
yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are saying that, even in the reviews that gave it 10 out of fucking 10.
Yeah.
They were saying it's like, yeah, but it's a bit of a crapshoot using the construction table
well,
to figure out what you've got to make without the help of an online guide. And it's like, that's not good game design.
Well, it's because the crafting grid is positional, where it's like where you put stuff in, it matters.
Yeah.
You can
to a degree.
Sometimes
presumably the materials are a bit like some of the material combos.
Well, yeah, exactly. Finding the right combination of materials is sometimes not as obvious as it could be. And it's like for the enchanting table, it's like the tip in the achievement thing says like use obsidian, diamonds, and a book to make a crafting table. And it's like, well, surely you try and think of how that could be. It's like, well, obviously obsidian at the bottom, and then diamonds, and then like a book, like a table.
Yeah.
But it's like I tried several different arrangements and I couldn't get it. It was like, it must be so close. And then I had to go look it up. It was like, motherfuckers. I wouldn't mind. It's like, either they need to have in-game tutorials and shit
to
tell you about
Proper ones.
Or like a recipe book that you can open and see all the recipes or something in-game. Or just make it so somewhere in-game there's just a thing that says click here to go to the wiki, like Guild Wars does it. I wouldn't even mind that if it was like in the game to say you're going to need help. Rather than just like wander around and punch bricks because you never know how to make any tools.
Maybe they could make it like, it could have been part of the game perhaps where you find occasionally sort of like ancient documents that tell you how to make shit.
Or in NPC villages or something.
Yeah.
Blueprints.
Yeah, sort of kind of like blueprints, yeah, but obviously not mandatory, so you can choose to have them.
Yeah. There just needs to be more... I think that it's like if you're going to call it a finished game, you need a sort of tutorial. It's like how Dwarf Fortress is. Yeah, unless you go on the wiki and read a whole shit ton of stuff, you're never going to be able to actually play that. Because you don't know how anything fucking works. So yeah.
Minecraft.
And so then I stopped playing Minecraft 1 and went back to 1.8, which is weird that it's now it's version number 1 for official, but the beta is 1.8. So yeah, I went back to 1.8 because I was still fucking around with Buildcraft and making ludicrous automated tree farms and shit.
I love your reed farm. It's freaking hilarious.
What, you just like the...
the tons of pistons shoved.
I wish there was a more efficient way of doing that. That's what I don't like about that reed farm. It's like you have to have one piston per reed. That's incredibly inefficient in terms of resources.
But it is cool when it just happens. Poof!
Kunk!
Yeah.
Yes!
So yeah, I fucked around with a lot more mechanisms, making clocks and shit. Which I've been thinking about basically starting fresh in another Buildcraft world and going from the start again and using clocks instead of dispenser clocks. Mm-hmm. And there is theoretically an update that's going to happen for Buildcraft quite soon because he's been working on it, which does actually some kind of ludicrous stuff. Like now you can have logic circuits on the pipelines and wires built onto the pipelines that trigger things attached to the pipe. So instead of using the redstone, that's like you have redstone, but now you also have this other wiring system that's attached to the pipe network. So
save space, presumably.
Yeah.
Well, to save space and let you do more complicated things because it has like it's conditional, where you can say if this type of block is travelling through this pipe, do something else over here. So it adds a lot more complicated stuff, and you need to make circuit boards for the. You need to make Minecraft circuit boards where you have to basically have lasers that point at the crafting table, and then the lasers go like they were making a circuit in real life or whatever.
Awesome.
Which is totally ridiculous, but kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then apparently the Equivalent Exchange mod is going to update as well at some point to change all their
stuff.
What do you call it? Alchemy. Upgrading of the materials. That's all going to change to different recipes in their next update. So once those two updates come out, I'll probably upgrade to version 1 and then I can play proper Minecraft in parallel with Buildcraft, rather than having to reinstall the entire thing every time I want to switch between them, basically.
Is that what you're having to do? Oh,
well, it doesn't really install. You can just basically...
Oh, it's just an executable or an executable.
It's like in your user file in Windows is where Minecraft basically stores all its data. The exe is just by itself. It's in an empty folder by itself, but all the data is stored in your user, so you just copy that out, shove the old one in, and it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you have to do.
So you don't actually move the exe, but you move the...
Because it always looks at that directory, which is kind of a pain in the ass in its own way, because it's like, I can't choose to not have all of Minecraft's data stored on my fucking C drive.
That's
because it goes into my user folder.
You'd have to use one of those link things.
And of course, because Minecraft's worlds are storing so much data, those start to get big. It's like 50 megs a world or whatever. Like Dwarf Fortress.
Yep.
God damn it, data.
Oh, we're coming towards the end of this podcast.
We've got a little more time.
A little more time. I tell you,
I'm trying to figure anything else I was playing.
I said I was going to play Twilight Princess again.
Yeah.
Guess what I am playing?
Skyward Sword?
That would be weird.
Go the other way.
Ocarina?
No.
Too far.
Too far? Yes, Wind Waker. I'm playing Wind Waker.
Gas Maker.
Might as well. And it's like, that game looks great. I was actually thinking maybe I should try, because I own the game, maybe I should try getting it working in Dolphin in like a high res. Because I know you could, because a Skyward Sword looks kind of cool in HD, but
a lot of people say
you've got no controller, have you?
Yeah.
So how would that work?
You can. I don't know if Dolphin supports the ability
Apparently
to...
it does.
If you have a Bluetooth receiver on your PC.
Yeah, you have to do some ridiculous...
I could possibly play Wind Waker in HD with my Xbox controller, which might be quite cool.
That'd be quite neat.
Because it's lovely looking, just even though it's so old. Like
it would probably
so
suit the
cel-shaded.
HD update because it's not really texture heavy.
It's all nice and cel-shaded and stuff, and it looks great. And cool game. So.
I remembered a game that I didn't talk about when I played it like a couple of weeks ago because it got absorbed into Battlefield and stuff.
Okay.
And it doesn't bear that much talking about, but I was fucking around with this weird, totally unfinished project that someone's been working on for like 10 years or some shit. It's one of those never going to be finished kind of games. It's called Cortex Command, which is this weird sort of, I'm not sure how you can even describe it. It's sort of like Worms, only more direct control. And you just have this like world, and you have to fight things in it. Except it's like super physics based, and all the terrain has that kind of pixel physics, where it's like if you undermine things, bits of it fall down.
Right.
Like the actual pixels
Yeah.
of the terrain can be modified by explosions and stuff, which makes it fucking impossible to play. Because in order to interact with this pixel based physics engine of all the terrain, the way like your blokes have to move is really kind of like weirdly robotically slow, where it's like because it's trying to cope with this unnecessarily large amount of physics for this incredibly simple motion of like walking forwards.
It's like per pixel physics.
Yeah, so it's pretty ridiculous.
It's like an evolution of voxels.
Well, a de-evolution. A sideways evolution. Do you remember, because I was trying to think of the game I compare it to, but do you remember from like a million years ago, it must have been off a PC Gamer cover disc, I'm sure, but there was a game where it was like a side-scrolling shooter, not sold at, but it had pixel physics, where you could shoot through the terrain, like you could carve bits of terrain out and they'd fall over. It wasn't really a game as much as a tech demo, even. There wasn't really much game to it. I can't fucking remember what it was, but I'm sure it was a PC Gamer disc.
No, I'm struggling.
Can't remember that one.
But it's basically like that.
Cool. Okay, well, that's a great reference for all listeners.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Woo.
I had something else I was going to say before. Oh, are you going to play Assassin's Creed Revelations?
Me?
Yeah.
Not for,
Come on,
not
you
for a
asking
while.
me, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe eventually.
Those adverts are annoying.
Reviews aren't great. I don't think the bombs thing basically they seem to be focusing on that bombs new feature, and I basically wouldn't use it at all. I
don't use most of the stuff that Assassin's Creed gives you.
So yeah,
not even in the second. Fuck smoke bombs.
So possibly, but not for a while.
Probably should use smoke bombs.
Anyway, how long until our special? Our
couple of weeks, couple of casts still.
Couple of casts to go. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, we'll join you next time for
normal cast in 2 weeks' time.
Normal cast,
and then the special end of year special. Unless we want to do it before Christmas for some reason, so we can rule out.
It's like in 4 weeks, it virtually will be Christmas.
Exactly. So not long.
Yeah, that'll be the last cast of the year, though, probably.
So
unless we wanted to do that one separate.
10 seconds.
So we'll be back for that one. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us for this one, and we'll catch you next time on the Saladcast.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, emo! Oh, wait!